Hi guys. Hello. Hello. How are you? Welcome back. Did you eat dinner? Did you eat dinner? You knew I was going to ask you if you ate dinner, right? Hello. Hello. Who got first today? Hi Nudge. Hello Riley. Hi Apple. Computer Geek. Oh my god, thank you for the 90 streams. Has it really been this long? I don't know. It really doesn't feel like it has been. Hi Andy. Luke. Luke, what happened? Why are you not the same color? Are you guys in cahoots? Are my mods freaking me out? Why are you guys changing colors? Hold on, who got first? Oh, Luke got first. Congratulations. And hi Crimson, nice to see you. Hi Kawaiian, hi Shani. Hi Tragedy of, nice to see you. Hello. Oh, Renji, first time chat. Thank you so much. Welcome in, welcome in. Yes, it's time for cozy time. Hee hee, yeah? Oh my gosh. What am I going to do with you guys? Thank you for the 7 streams, Tiki. Thank you. I had 2 quesadillas. Good job, Apple. Thank you for eating. Thank you so much for eating dinner. I had a sandwich myself. It was turkey and cheddar. It was very good. Do you like it? I don't dislike it. I do like it. You know what? Knowing what I know about your character design that we're working on, I think that the gray matches you, but I will miss the lavender. I will miss it. You know, I'm not really sure why I would miss the lavender, but I definitely do. The gray and the red, yeah. Not who would match colors. Crimson, Crimson, you're driving me mad. Be red, be red. I am starving right now. I'm still not done packing, so I haven't had a chance to. Oh, you're still not done packing, so you haven't had a chance to. I am red. What do you mean? Chat, are you seeing my mods gaslight me in real time? There's no way. This is not just me, right? You guys are seeing my mods gaslight me in real time too, right? Hi, Billy. Hello. Don't worry, I'll change it back. Luke, it's okay if you want to stay gray. I understand. I understand. You have a new vibe that you're upholding now. Oh, thank you for the thunder. You guys, you want to know something crazy? It is actually thundering right now where I am. It was so cozy. I didn't want to get out of bed. The rain and the thunder. So cozy. Hi, King. Welcome in. Nice to see you. I see nothing odd. Crim is red as always. Thank you for the alert, Crimson. Thank you. Hashtag storm dragon things for real. Hype. I wish it was raining right now where I am. It is really raining right now. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Apple. Thank you. It has been rainy the past 5 weeks. 5 weeks? My goodness, 5 weeks. Hey, Cass. Look at where we are at the plus goal. What? You guys. We're at 97 out of 100? When did that happen? We were at 91 earlier. Chat, in my earlier stream, were we not at 91? How did we... Sneaky, sneaky, you guys. Thank you guys so much for your help. Wait, that means we're only 3 away. We're only 3 subs away from hitting my plus goal. Oh my god. Only 3? Did someone say tier 3? I mean 1 tier 3 or 3 tier 1s. That's all it's gonna take. I can't believe it. We're almost there. We have a week left. We're almost there. I'm in ASMR, so I can't be really loud, but just know I'm freaking out. Just know I'm freaking out. Oh my god. Oh my god. I had no idea. Thank you for pointing that out, Luke. I didn't know. You're so going to get it. You think so? Oh my gosh. Cody! Ah, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the afterlife, friend. Welcome. It's a ghost? I ain't afraid of no ghost, but you know who ain't Ghostbusters? Here's a follow. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're not afraid of ghosts. I'm a friendly ghost. I'm not scary, right, chat? Right, chat? I'm not scary. Mm-mm. I think I'm actually the opposite of scary. Are you Casper's older sister? Oh, I like that. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Alex, welcome in, Alex. Lovely to see you. Welcome back. You're adorable and sweet. I missed you. Oh, I missed you too, Riley. The only scary thing is your absence. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, you're so sweet. Hi, Alex. How are you? Please tell me you're not still working. Please, please. You're off, right? You're not going back to work, right? Right? You're off. You're here to hang out and vibe, right? All right, I'm going to interview you, right? Are you ready? Oh. Within reason. Within reason. We do have a book to read tonight, after all. Hi, Aim. Hello. Nice to see you. How did you die and what killed you? You know, maybe you should come back on August 1st for my 2.0 debut, and maybe perhaps I will answer that question. I think chat killed her. Maybe. That's very possible. That is very possible. I rage baited her to death. That checks out. How long have you been dead? I don't remember. Wow, this really is an interrogation, huh? I've been dead a long, long time, Cody. Cheers. Hi, Negan. Hello, nice to see you. Welcome in. Thanks for checking on me. No, I'm just trying to make sure your story checks out before I called Ghostbusters. Be careful. My souls are very loyal and they'll get you. I'm doing so good, Negan. Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. How was, correct me if I'm wrong, you were doing school, right? How has your school been? How's your schoolwork been? I've been very good. Very, very good indeed. All right, last one. No, I definitely didn't, you silly. Hi, Kawaiian. Call the Winchesters. Oh, no. Wait, actually, can you please call the Winchesters? I have a little experiment I want to try. Don't ask questions. Thank you for the stretch. Give me 1 second. Thank you. I have been so good, Riley. Thank you for asking. We will... Oh my gosh, Geek. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the head pat. Oh, Andy, I hope you're doing good today. School hasn't happened yet. College starts in September. That's right. That's right. Wait, September? I guess it is summertime, isn't it? It is summertime, isn't it? Time isn't real here, so... Final workday? Final workday? Oh, alright, Alex. Well, I'll miss you while you're gone. I hope you have a good night at work. Please, please try to make the most of it for me, okay? And hi, Rennie. Welcome in. Thank you for claiming your fruit. Thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Cody. I appreciate that. Sam and Dean Winchester, exactly, from Supernatural. Yeah, I just have, a very, very specific question I need to ask them both. I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you're doing good, Andy. I'm doing good, too. Oh, hi, Neo. Welcome back. I'm good. Did you guys all eat dinner? Yes? Have you ever? I have. As a ghost? I sure have, Cody. Casket, have you ever experienced sun showers or walked in a warm rain? There's something deeply moving about letting the warm rain wash over you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in a climate where it rains pretty frequently, and the warm rain is always much more welcoming than the ice cold rain. Ice cold rain. Love you all. Bye, Alex. I love you too. See you real soon, okay? Hmm. Okay, chat. I'm so ready to get into this book. It's been weighing on my mind because I haven't read this book, and I love reading new books with you guys. We finished Howl's Moving Castle last weekend on Saturday, and I just I we were talking about which book came next in the series, right? Because it's technically a trilogy, but it's not like a linear set of books. You know what I mean? They're brothers, not lovers, if that's what you wanted to know. Oh, Negan. I knew that, silly. I wanted to know what they could do for me. Still at work? No, lively. Just leave. Just leave. Oh, you went straight to sleep, so no dinner yet. Well, you guys, if you're here and you haven't had dinner yet, please at least think about it, okay? Anyway, the next book in the Howl's Moving Castle series is called Castle in the Air. And from what I've gathered, because I've done some research outside of stream, from what I've gathered is that the trilogy isn't necessarily 3 books that are following Howl and Sophie. They're 3 novels that take place in the same universe. So they all happen in the same, like, towns and areas, and the same settings are in each of the books, if that makes sense. So there might be some reoccurring characters from the previous book. There might be some themes. There might be some familiar faces, but we will see. We will see. I ate. I am proud of you, Luke. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for eating dinner for me. Thank you so much. Hi, Dynamic. I am doing so good. Thank you. Thank you. And W7 Stream Streak. Thank you, Lively. I had pizza today. Ooh. Riley, what kind of pizza? I hope it was good. Sam and Dean will protect you. Will they? I hope they do a little bit more than protecting me. I actually remember being here earlier. Oh, yeah, you did accidentally bonk me. Dynamic, I'm so glad that that stuck and that you remembered. I think you would be the singular ghost that Sam and Dean would agree not to destroy. You're just too precious and cute. And I mean, have you seen your hips and legs? Hey, hey, King. Oh, my. Now that made me blush. My goodness. Oh, thank you for 15 streams, Neo. 15 days of cast having my set 2 hearts and attention. Oh, and your soul, darling. Don't forget your soul. Hi, Skyward Lock. Welcome. Hello. Nice to see you. Baby ghoul. Oh my gosh, Luke. I like that. I like that. Pepperoni and sausage. Based, Riley. Based. Speaking of my hearts, how are they? Safe and sound. Don't worry. Welcome home, Mato. I've missed you. Nice to see you. Who's a good kitty? That's crazy. Who's a good kitty? Meow. Thank you for the 55 streams. I usually forget because you end up napping. That makes sense. That makes sense. I can't wait to get in this book chat. Okay, let's all unshrimp. Let's all unshrimp ourselves. Let's stretch. Okay, let's drink some water. Do you guys have water? And make sure you have your blankets and your pillows. Everyone's cozy, yeah? Oh, having the cat ears is too adorable. You guys love the cat ears, huh? Pretty soon new chatters are going to come in and they're going to think I'm a cat girl VTuber and not just a silly ghost girl. Naps reset my brain. They reset my brain too. Sometimes I wake up from a nap and I don't know what year it is or who I am or where I am. I'm a good girl for stretching. Thank you. All right, chat. Oh, I like the hair buns and the glasses. Hell yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, before stream today, I did not get the chance to make a graphic for this book. So, you know how I usually have the picture of the book in the corner of the stream? I'm just going to grab a picture of the book from Google and then put it in the corner instead. Mm. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the redeems. Thank you for all the redeems. We're just going to grab that for you so that way you guys can at least see it. Open image. Save. Desktop. Okay. Alright, and I'll turn this on. Let me find that. And the nerd. Wow, you guys. Wow, you guys. This image might be bigger than I intend it to be. Okay, so just be cool for a second if it is. Oh yeah, it's giant. Hold on. This is the book we're reading today, chat. So I'm just gonna put this right here. There we go. Good enough for me. Oh, it's cute. Yes. When is the deadline for your plus goal? End of the month. So we have a week. We have a week left. And as of this stream, we're at 97 out of 100. So thank you guys for all of the love and support. Much appreciated. Tree, thank you for the 10 streams. Okay, guys. I can't resub until August 10th. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Do not worry about it at all, please. Just know that I love and appreciate that you're here, okay? Hi, Wookie. Hello. Just know that I love you whether you're a tier 3 sub, a tier 1 sub, or just a follower, okay? I appreciate you. Alright, chat. I don't actually know what this book is about. I know that it is set in the same time period, in the same setting as Howl's Moving Castle, but I don't actually know what this book is about. So I think before we jump right into it, I would like to read the summary on the back of the book to you guys first. How's that sound? Then we can both become accustomed to what's in here. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Welcome to the afterlife. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Let's get into the summary. By day, Abdullah is a humble carpet merchant, yet in his dreams, he is a prince. But his dreams start to come true when he meets the lovely Flower in the night. When a hideous jinn carries Flower off into the sky, Abdullah is determined to rescue her. If he can find her, and if he can avoid all the ferocious villains who seem to be after him. But how can he possibly succeed with only a bad-tempered genie and an unreliable magic carpet to help him? Gee, you know, that kind of sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? Just a little. Just a little bit. But I had no idea that that's what the story is going to be about. A magic carpet? A djinn? A genie? Castle in the air. I guess if you look at the cover art that I put on the screen, you can kind of tell. Like if I make it larger, or if you saw it when it was large on the screen, there are two people on a magic carpet with a genie. Context clues. The original cover, though, I don't think looks like this. Alright, chat. I am very excited to get into this. Oh, the artwork in the book is also very cute. Hi, Ted. Thank you for claiming your fruit. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing good today, yeah? Can't hear anything, just passing through. Oh, okay. I'm not cranky about that or anything. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Nope, definitely not. Definitely not. Oh, King, thank you. Cass would be upset if you put yourself in a bind for her sake, and you wouldn't want to make her cry. Yes, exactly. Look at those airplane ears. Oh my goodness. Okay, alright. Let's get into chapter 1. Oh, let me take the blush off. King, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay. Chapter 1. I'm excited. Chapter 1, in which Abdullah buys a carpet. Far to the south of the land of Ingari, in the sultans of Rajput, a young carpet merchant called Abdullah lived in the city of Zanzib. As merchants go, he was not rich. His father had been disappointed in him, and when he died, he had only left Abdullah just enough money to buy and stock a modest booth in the northwest corner of the bazaar. The rest of his father's money and the large carpet emporium in the center of the bazaar had all gone to the relatives of his father's first wife. Abdullah had never been told why his father was disappointed in him. A prophecy made at Abdullah's birth had something to do with it. But Abdullah had never bothered to find out more. Instead, from a very early age, he had simply made up daydreams about it. In his daydreams, he was really the long-lost son of a great prince, which meant, of course, that his father was not really his father. Oh, sorry guys, my VTube studio just crashed. Give me one moment. I might have to uninstall and reinstall VTube Studio. This has happened quite frequently. One moment, please. Let me pull it back up. This is a funny place for my model to be stuck in, though. Okay. Okay. Are we better? Are we better? We're better. Second. There we go. All right. Where were we? Let's see. A prophecy made at Abdullah's birth had something to do with it, but Abdullah had never bothered to find out more. Instead, from a very early age, he had simply made up daydreams about it. In his daydreams, he was really the long-lost son of a great prince, which meant, of course, that his father was not really his father. It was a complete castle in the air, and Abdullah knew it was. Everyone told him he had inherited his father's looks. When he looked in a mirror, he saw a decidedly handsome young man in a thin, hawk-faced way, and knew he looked very like the portrait of his father as a young man, always allowing for the fact that his father wore a flourishing mustache, whereas Abdullah was still scraping together the 6 hairs on his upper lip and hoping they would multiply soon. Unfortunately, as everyone also agreed, Abdullah also inherited his character from his mother, his father's second wife. She had been a dreamy and timorous woman, and a great disappointment to everyone. This did not bother Abdullah particularly. The life of a carpet merchant holds few opportunities for bravery, and he was, on the whole, content with it. The booth he had bought, though small, turned out to be rather well placed. It was not far from the west quarter where the rich people lived in their big houses, surrounded by beautiful gardens. Better still, it was the first part of the bazaar the carpet makers came to when they came in Zanzib from the desert to the north. Both the rich people and the carpet makers were usually seeking the bigger shops in the center of the bazaar, but a surprisingly large number of them were ready to pause at the booth of a young carpet merchant when the young merchant rushed out into their paths and offered them bargains and discounts with most profuse politeness. In this way, Abdullah was quite often able to buy best quality carpets before anyone else saw them, and sell them at a profit too. In between buying and selling, he could sit in his booth and continue with his daydreams, which suited him very well. In fact, almost the only trouble in his life came from his father's first wife's relation, who would keep visiting him once a month in order to point out his failings. "But you're not saving any of your profits," cried Abdullah's father's first wife's brother's son, Hakim, whom Abdullah detested, one fateful day. Abdullah explained that, when he made a profit, his custom was to use that money to buy a better carpet. Thus, although all his money was bound up in his stock, it was getting to be better and better stock. He had enough to live on, and as he told his father's relatives, he had no need of more, since he was not married. "Well, you should be married," cried Abdullah's father's first wife's sister, Fatima, whom Abdullah detested even more. "I've said it once, and I'll say it again. A young man like you should have at least 2 wives by now." And, not content with simply saying so, Fatima declared that this time she was going to look out for some wives for him, an offer which made Abdullah shake in his shoes. "And the more valuable your stock gets, the more likely you are to be robbed, or the more you'll lose if your booth catches fire. Have you thought of that?" nagged Abdullah's father's first wife's uncle's son, Asif, a man who Abdullah hated more than the first 2 put together. He assured Asif that he always slept in the booth and he was very careful of the lamps, at which all 3 of his father's first wife's relatives shook their heads, tut-tutted, and went away. This usually meant they would leave him in peace for another month. Abdullah sighed with relief and plunged straight back into his daydream. The daydream was enormously detailed by now. In it, Abdullah was the son of a mighty prince who lived so far to the east that his country was known in Zanzib. But Abdullah had been kidnapped at the age of 2 by a villainous bandit called Kabul Akba. There we go. Kabul Akba had a hooked nose like the beak of a vulture and wore a gold ring clipped into one of its nostrils. He carried a pistol with a silver mount stock with which he menaced Abdullah, and there was a bloodstone in his turban which seemed to give him more than human power. Abdullah was so frightened that he ran away into the desert, where he was found by a man he called his father now. The daydream took no account of the fact that Abdullah's father had never ventured into the desert in his life. Indeed, he had often said that anyone who ventured beyond Zanzib must be mad. Nevertheless, Abdullah could picture every nightmare inch of the dry, thirsty, footsore journey he had made before the good carpet merchant found him. Likewise, he could picture in great detail the palace he had been kidnapped from, with its pillared throne room floored in green phosphori, its women's quarters and its kitchens, all of the utmost richness. There were 7 domes on its roof, each one covered with beaten gold. Lately, however, the daydream had been concentrating on the princess to whom Abdullah had had been betrothed at his birth. She was as high-born as Abdullah, and had grown up in his absence into a great beauty with perfect features and huge, misty, dark eyes. She lived in a palace as rich as Abdullah's own. You approached it along an avenue lined with angelic statues and entered by way of 7 marble courts, each with a fountain in the middle more precious than the last, starting with one made of crystallite and ending with one of platinum studded with emerald. But that day, Abdullah found he was not quite satisfied with this arrangement. It was a feeling he often had after a visit from his father's first wife's relations. It occurred to him that a good palace ought to have magnificent gardens. Abdullah loved gardens, though he knew very little about them. Most of his experience had come from the public parks of Zanzibar, where the turf was somewhat trampled and the flowers few, in which he sometimes spent his lunch hour when he could afford to pay one-eyed Jamal to watch his booth. Jamal kept the fried foot stall next door and would, for a coin or so, tie his dog to the front of Abdullah's booth. Abdullah was well aware that this did not really qualify him to invent a proper garden, but since anything was better than thinking of 2 wives chosen for him by Fatima, he lost himself in waving fronds and scented walkways in the gardens of his princess. Or nearly. Before Abdullah was fairly started, he was interrupted by a tall, dirty man with a dingy-looking carpet in his arms. "You buy carpets for selling, son of great house?" the stranger asked, bowing briefly. For someone trying to sell a carpet to Zanzibar, where buyers and sellers always spoke to one another in the most formal and flowery way, this man's manner was shockingly abrupt. Abdullah was annoyed anyway, because his dream garden was falling into pieces at this interruption from real life. He answered curtly, "That is so, O king of the desert. You wish to trade with the miserable merchant?" "Not trade, sell, O master of a stack of mats," the stranger corrected him. Mats, thought Abdullah. This was an insult. One of the carpets on display in front of Abdullah's booth was a rare, floral, tufted one from Ingary, or Okinistan, as they called that land in Zanzibar, and there were at least 2 inside, from Inhiko and Farktan, which the Sultan himself would not have disdained for one of the smaller rooms of his place. But of course Abdullah could not say this. The manners of Zanzibar did not let you praise yourself. Instead, he bowed a coldly shallow bow. "It is possible that my low and squalid establishment might provide that which you seek, O pearl of wanderers," he said, and cast his eye critically over the stranger's dirty desert robe, the corroded stud in the side of the man's nose, and his tattered headcloth as he said it. "It is worse than squalid, mighty seller of floor coverings," the stranger agreed. He flapped one end of his dingy carpet towards Jamal, who was frying squid just then in clouds of blue fishy smoke. "Does not the honorable activity of your neighbor penetrate your wares?" he asked, "even to a lasting aroma of octopus?" Abdullah seethed with such rage inside that he was forced to rub his hands together slavishly to hide it. People were not supposed to mention this sort of thing, and a slight smell of squid might even improve that thing of that the stranger wanted to sell, he thought, eyeing the drab and threadbare rug in the man's arms. "Your humble servant takes care to fumigate the interior of his booth with lavish perfumes, O Prince of Wisdom," he said. "Perhaps the heroic sensitivity of the prince's nose will nevertheless allow him to show this beggarly trader his merchandise." Of course it does. Oh, lily among mackerel, the stranger retorted. Why else should I stand here? Abdullah reluctantly parted the curtains and ushered the man inside his booth. There, he turned up the lamp which hung from the center pole, but, upon sniffing, decided that he was not going to waste incense on this person. The interior smelt quite strong enough of yesterday's scents. What magnificence have you to unroll before my unworthy eyes? He asked dubiously. This buyer of bargains, the man said, and, with a deft thrust of one arm, he caused the carpet to unroll across the floor. Abdullah could do this too. A carpet merchant learned these things. He was not impressed. He stuck his hands in his sleeves in a primly servile attitude and surveyed the merchandise. The carpet was not large. Unrolled, it was even dingier than he had thought, although the pattern was unusual, or it would have been if most of it had not been worn away. What was left was dirty, and its edges were frayed. Alas, this poor salesman can only stretch to 3 copper coins for this most ornament of rugs, he observed. It is the limit of my slender purse. Times are hard. O captain of many camels, is the price acceptable in any way? I'll take 500, said the stranger. What? Said Abdullah. Gold coins, added the stranger. The king of all desert bandits is surely pleased to jest, said Abdullah. Or maybe, having found my small booth lacking in anything but the smell of frying squid, he wishes to leave and try a richer merchant? Not particularly, said the stranger, although I will leave if you are not interested, O neighbor of Kippers. It is, of course, a magic carpet. Abdullah had heard that one before. He bowed over his tucked-up hands. Many and various are the virtues said to reside in carpets, he agreed. Which one does the poet of the sands claim for this? Does it welcome a man home to his tent? Does it bring peace to the hearth? Or maybe, he said, poking the frayed edge suggestively with one toe, it is said never to wear out. It flies, said the stranger. It flies wherever the owner commands, O smallest of small minds. Abdullah looked up into the man's somber face, where the desert had entrenched deep lines down each cheek. A sneer made those lines deeper still. Abdullah found he disliked this person almost as much as he disliked his father's first wife's uncle's son. You must convince this unbeliever, he said, if the carpet can be put through its paces, O monarch of mendicity, then some bargain might be struck. Willingly, said the tall man, and stepped upon the carpet. At this moment, one of the regular upsets happened at the fried food stall next door. Probably some street boys had tried to steal some squid. At any rate, Jamal's dog burst out barking. Various people, Jamal included, began yelling, and both sounds were nearly drowned by the clash of a saucepan and the hissing of hot fat. Cheating was a way of life in Zanzib. Abdullah did not allow his attention to be distracted for one instant from the stranger and his carpet. It was quite possible the man had bribed Jamal to cause a distraction. He had mentioned Jamal rather often, as if Jamal were on his mind. Abdullah kept his eyes sternly on the tall figure of the man, and particularly on the dirty feet planted on the carpet. But he spared a corner of one eye for the man's face, and he saw the man's lips move. His alert ears even caught the words, 2 feet upwards, despite the din from next door, and he looked even more carefully when the carpet rose smoothly from the floor and hovered about level with Abdullah's knees. so that the stranger's tattered headgear was not quite brushing the roof of the booth. Abdullah looked for rods underneath. He searched for wires that might have been deftly hooked to the roof. He took hold of the lamp and tipped it about so that its light played both over and under the carpet. The stranger stood with his arms folded and the sneer entrenched on his face while Abdullah performed these tests. "See," he said, "is the most desperate of doubters now convinced? Am I standing in the air, or am I not?" He had to shout, rather. The noise was still deafening from next door. Abdullah was forced to admit that the carpet did not appear to be up in the air without any means of support that he could find. "Very nearly," he shouted back. "The next part of the demonstration is for you to dismount and for me to ride the carpet." The man frowned. "Why so? What have your other senses to add to the evidence of your eyes, O dragon of Dubity?" "It could be a one-man carpet," Abdullah bawled. "As some dogs are." Jamal's dog was still bellowing away outside, so it was natural to think of this. Jamal's dog bit anyone who touched it, except Jamal. The stranger sighed. "Down," he said, and the carpet sank gently to the floor. The stranger stepped off and bowed Abdullah towards it. "It is yours to test, O sheik of shrewdness." With considerable excitement, Abdullah stepped onto the carpet. "Go up 2 feet," he said to it, or rather yelled. It sounded as if the constable of the city watch had arrived at Jamal's stall now. They were clashing weapons and bawling to be told what had happened. And the carpet obeyed Abdullah. It rose 2 feet in a smooth surge, which left Abdullah's stomach behind it. He sat down rather hastily. The carpet was perfectly comfortable to sit on. It felt like a very tight hammock. "This woefully sluggish intellect is becoming convinced," he confessed to the stranger. "What was your price again, O paragon of generosity? 200 silver? 500 gold," said the stranger. "Tell the carpet to descend, and we will discuss the matter." Abdullah told the carpet down and land on the floor. And it did so, thus removing a slight nagging doubt in Abdullah's mind that the stranger had said something extra when Abdullah first stepped on it, which had been drowned in the din from next door. He bounced to his feet, and the bargaining commenced. "The utmost of my purse is 150 gold, he explained, "and that is when I shake it out and feel all around the seams." "Then you must fetch out your other purse, or even feel under your mattress," the stranger rejoined, "for the limit of my generosity is 495 gold, and I would not sell at all but for the most pressing need." "I might squeeze another 45 gold from the sole of my left shoe," Abdullah replied, "that I keep for emergencies, and it is my pitiful all." "Examine your right shoe," the stranger answered. 450. And so it went on. An hour later, the stranger departed from the booth with 210 gold pieces, leaving Abdullah the delighted owner of what seemed to be a genuine, if threadbare, magic carpet. He was still mistrustful. He did not believe that anyone, even a desert wanderer with few needs, would part with a real flying carpet, albeit nearly worn out, for less than 400 gold pieces. It was too useful, better than a camel, because it did not need to eat, and a good camel cost at least 450 in gold. There had to be a catch, and there was one trick Abdullah had heard of. It usually worked with horses or dogs. A man would come and sell a trusting farmer or a hunter a truly superb animal for a surprisingly small price, saying that it was all that stood between himself and starvation. The delighted farmer or hunter would put the horse in a stall or the dog in a kennel for the night. In the morning, it would be gone, being trained to slip its halter or collar and return to its owner in the night. It seemed to Abdullah that a suitably obedient carpet could be trained to do the same. So, before he left his booth, he carefully wrapped the magic carpet round one of the poles that supported the roof and bound it there, round and round, with a whole reel of twine, which he then tied to one of the iron stakes at the base of the wall. I think you'll find it hard to escape from that, he told it, and went out to discover what had been going on at the food stall. The stall was quiet now and tidy. Jamal was sitting on its counter, mournfully hugging his dog. What happened? Asked Jamal. Some thieving boys spilt all my squid, my whole day's stock down in the dirt, lost, gone. Abdullah was so pleased with his bargain that he gave Jamal 2 silver pieces to buy more squid. Jamal wept with gratitude and embraced Abdullah. His dog not only failed to bite Abdullah, it licked his hand. Abdullah smiled. Life was good. He went off whistling to find a good supper, while the dog guarded his booth. When the evening was staining the sky red behind the domes and minarets of Zanzib, Abdullah came back, still whistling, full of plans to sell the carpet to the Sultan himself for a very large price indeed. He found the carpet exactly where he had left it. Or would it be better to approach the Grand Vizier, he wondered, while he was washing, and suggest that the Vizier might wish to make the Sultan a present of it. That way he could ask for even more money. At the thought of how valuable that made the carpet, the story of the horse trained to slip its halter began to nag at him again. As he got into his nightshirt, Abdullah began to visualize the carpet wriggling free. It was old and pliable. It was probably very well trained. It could certainly slither out from behind the twine. Even if it did not, he knew the idea would keep him awake all night. In the end, he carefully cut the twine away and spread the carpet on top of the pile of his most valuable rugs, which he always used as a bed. Then he put on his nightcap, which was necessary because the cold winds blew off the desert and filled the booth with draughts, spread his blanket over him, and blew out his lamp, and slept. And that's the end of chapter 1. I swear that I have never read this book before, but there is something so familiar, and I don't think that it's the obvious Aladdin reference, right? And for the record, I'm pretty sure that this book came before that movie. But there's something else that this is reminding me of, and I'm wondering if maybe I've heard this version of the story before, or something. It's really ringing a bell, even though I know I've never read this book. You know what I mean? Do any of you feel that way? Maybe it's just me. I'm trying to, because Aladdin, the movie, the Disney movie Aladdin, isn't really about the magic carpet. Obviously it's a character in the movie, right? But it's not really about that. It sounds like the second book of Narnia. Oh, I'm glad I didn't miss much of the book. Is this Castle in the Sky? It sounds very Arabian Nights. It is Castle in the Sky. Castle in the Air, technically. But yes. Hi, Craze. Hello. Welcome in. And hi, Ray. Hello. And Jim, I don't know if you're still here, but hello also. Very interesting indeed, right? Okay. Shall we proceed? Okay, let's see. It takes place in the same Arabian part of the world. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Good to know. Hmm. Oh, you want me to hydrate again? I'll hydrate again for you. Got disconnected from the Twitch app somehow and missed the past 5 minutes. Oh no! Well, you didn't miss much. We just finished the first chapter. Abdullah bought a magic carpet. Oh, I didn't know you already did. You silly. I'll do it again anyway for you. Okay. Chapter 2, in which Abdullah is mistaken for a young lady. He woke to find himself lying on a bank, with the carpet still underneath him, in a garden more beautiful than any he had imagined. Abdullah was convinced that this was a dream. Here was the garden he had been trying to imagine when the stranger so rudely interrupted him. Here, the moon was nearly full and riding high above, casting light as white as paint on 100 small fragrant flowers in the grass all around him. Round yellow lamps hung in the trees, dispelling the dense black shadows from the moon. Abdullah thought this was a very pleasing idea. By the two lights, white and yellow, he could see an arcade of creepers supported on elegant pillars beyond the lawn where he lay, and from somewhere behind that, hidden water was quietly trickling. It was so cool and so heaven-like that Abdullah got up and went in search of the hidden water, wandering down the arcade where starry blooms brushed his face, all white and hushed in the moonlight, and bell-like flowers breathed out the heatiest and gentlest of scents. As one does in dreams, Abdullah fingered a great waxy lily here and detoured deliciously there into a dell of pale roses. He had never before had a dream that was anything like so beautiful. Luke, behave. The water, when he found it beyond some big fern-like bushes dripping dew, was a simple marble fountain in another lawn, lit by strings of lamps in the bushes which made the rippling water into a marvel of gold and silver crescents. Abdullah wandered towards it rapidly. There was only one thing needed to complete his rapture, and, as in all the best dreams, it was there. An extremely lovely girl came across the lawn to meet him, treading softly on the damp grass with bare feet. The gauzy garments floated round the gauzy garments floating around her showed her to be slender, but not thin, just like the princess from Abdullah's daydream. When she was near Abdullah, he saw that her face was not quite a perfect oval, as the face of his dream princess should have been, and nor were her huge dark eyes at all misty. In fact, they examined his face keenly, with evident interest. Abdullah hastily adjusted his dream, for she was certainly very beautiful, and when she spoke, her voice was all he could have desired, being light and merry as the water in the fountain, and the voice of a very definite person, too. "Are you a new kind of servant?" she said. People always did ask strange things in dreams. Abdullah thought, "No, masterpiece of my imagination," he said. "Know that I am really the long-lost son of a distant prince." "Oh," she said, "then that may make a difference. Does that mean you're a different kind of woman from me?" Abdullah stared at the girl of his dreams in some perplexity. I'm not a woman, he said. Are you sure? She asked. You are wearing a dress. Abdullah looked down and discovered that, in the way of dreams, he was wearing his nightshirt. This is just my strange foreign garb, he said hastily. My true country is far from here. I assure you that I am a man. Oh no, she said decidedly. You can't be a man. You're quite the wrong shape. Men are twice as thick as you, all over, and their stomachs come out in a fat bit that's called a belly. And they have gray hair all over their faces, and nothing but shiny skin on their heads. You've got hair on your head, like me, and almost none on your face. Then, as Abdullah put his hand rather indignantly to the 6 hairs on his upper lip, she asked, Or have you got bare skin under your hat? Certainly not, said Abdullah, who was proud of his thick wavy hair. He put his hand to his head and removed what turned out to be his nightcap. Look, he said. Ah, she said. Her lovely face was puzzled. You have hair that's almost as nice as mine. I don't understand. I'm not sure I do either, said Abdullah. Could it be that you have not seen very many men? Of course not, she said. Don't be silly. I've only seen my father. But I've seen quite a lot of him, so I do know. But don't you ever go out at all? Abdullah asked helplessly. She laughed. Yes, I'm out now. This is my night garden. My father had it made so that I wouldn't ruin my looks going out in the sun. I mean, out into the town to see all the people, Abdullah explained. Well, no, not yet, she admitted, as if that bothered her a little. She twirled away from him and went to sit on the edge of the fountain. Turning to look up at him, she said, My father tells me I might be able to go out and see the town sometime after I'm married, if my husband allows me to, but it won't be this town. My father's arranged for me to marry a prince from Oakenstan. Until then, I have to stay inside these walls, of course. Abdullah had heard that some of the very rich people in Zanzibar kept their daughters, and even their wives too, almost like prisoners inside their grand houses. He had many times wished someone would keep his father's first wife's sister, Fatima, that way. But now, in this dream, it seemed to him that this custom was entirely unreasonable and not fair on this lovely girl at all. Fancy not knowing what a normal young man looked like. Pardon my asking, but is the prince from Oakenstan perhaps old and a little ugly? He said. Well, she said, evidently not quite sure. My father says he's in his prime, just like my father is himself, but I believe the problem lies in the brutal nature of men. If another man saw me before the prince did, my father says he would instantly fall in love with me and carry me off, which would ruin all of my father's plans naturally. He says most men are great beasts. Are you a beast? Not in the least, said Abdullah. I thought not, she said, and looked up at him with great concern. You do not seem to me to be a beast. This makes me quite sure that you can't really be a man. Evidently, she was one of those people who like to cling onto theory once they have made it. After considering a moment, she asked, Could your family, perhaps, for reasons of their own, have brought you up to believe a falsehood? Abdullah would have liked to say that the boot was on the other foot, but since that struck him as impolite, he simply shook his head and thought how generous of her it was to be so worried about him, and how the worry on her face only made it more beautiful, not to speak of the way her eyes shone compassionately in the gold and silver light reflecting from the fountain. Perhaps it has something to do with the fact that you are from a distant country, she said, and patted the edge of the fountain beside her. Sit down and tell me about it. Tell me your name first, said Abdullah. It's rather a silly name, she said nervously. I'm called Flower in the Night. It was the perfect name for the girl of his dreams, Abdullah thought. He gazed down at her admiringly. "My name is Abdullah," he said. "They even gave you a man's name," Flower in the Night exclaimed indignantly. "Do sit down and tell me." Abdullah sat on the marble curb beside her and thought that this was a very real dream. The stone was cold. Splashes from the fountain soaked into his nightshirt, while the sweet smell of rosewater from flowers in the night mingled most realistically with scents from the flowers in the garden. But since it was a dream, it followed that his daydreams were true here too. So Abdullah told her all about the palace he had lived in as a prince and how he was kidnapped by Abdul Akba and escaped into the desert where the carpet merchant found him. Flower in the Night listened with complete sympathy. "How terrifying! How exhausting," she said. "Could it be that your foster father was in league with the bandits to deceive you?" Abdullah had a growing feeling, despite the fact that he was only dreaming, that he was getting her sympathy on false pretenses. He agreed that his father could have been the Pei of Kabul Akba, and then changed the subject. "Let us get back to your father and his plans," he said. "It seems to me a little awkward that you should marry the prince from Okinstan without having seen any other men compared to him. How are you going to know whether you love him or not?" "You have a point," she said. "This worries me too sometimes." "Then I tell you what," Abdullah said. "Suppose I come back tomorrow night and bring you pictures of as many men as I can find. That should give you some standard to compare the prince with, dream or no." Abdullah had absolutely no doubt that he would be back tomorrow. This would give him a proper excuse. Flower in the Night considered this offer, swaying dubiously back and forth with her hands clasped round her knees. Abdullah could almost see rows of fat, bald men with gray beards passing in front of her mind's eye. "I assure you," he said, "that men come in every sort of size and shape." "Then that would be very instructive," she agreed. "At least it would give me an excuse to see you again. You're one of the nicest people I've ever met." This made Abdullah even more determined to come back tomorrow. He told himself it would be unfair to leave her in such a state of ignorance. "And I think the same about you," he said shyly. At this, to his disappointment, Flower in the Night got up to leave. "I have to go indoors now," she said. "A first visit must last no longer than half an hour, and I'm almost sure you've been here twice as long as that. But now we know one another, and you can stay at least 2 hours next time." "Thank you, I shall," said Abdullah. She smiled and passed away like a dream, beyond the fountain and behind 2 frondy flowery shrubs. After that, the garden, the moonlight, the scents, seemed rather tame. Abdullah could think of nothing better to do than wander back the way he had come, and there, on the moonlit bank, he found the carpet. He had forgotten about it completely, but since it was there in the dream too, he lay down on it and fell asleep. He woke up, some hours later, with blinding daylight streaming in through the chinks in his booth. The smell of the day before yesterday's incense hanging about in the air struck him as cheap and suffocating. In fact, the whole booth was fusty and frosty and cheap. And he had earache because his nightcap seemed to have fallen off in the night. But, at least, he found while he hunted for the nightcap. The carpet had not made off in the night. It was still underneath him. This was the one good thing he could see in what suddenly struck him as a thoroughly dull and depressing life. Here, Jamal, who was still grateful for the silver pieces, shouted outside that he had breakfast ready for both of them. Abdullah gladly flung back the curtains of the booth. Cocks crowed in the distance. The sky was glowing blue, and shafts of strong sunlight sliced through the blue dust and old incense inside the booth. Even in that strong light, Abdullah failed to discover his nightcap, and he was more depressed than ever. Tell me, do you sometimes find yourself unaccountably sad on some days? He asked Jamal as the two of them sat cross-legged in the sun outside to eat. Jamal tenderly fed a piece of sugary pastry to his dog. I would have been sad today, he said, but for you. I think someone paid those wretched boys to steal. They were so thorough, and on top of that, the watch fined me. Did I say? I think I have enemies, my friend. Though this confirmed Abdullah's suspicion of the stranger who sold him the carpet, it was not much help. Maybe, he said, you should be more careful about whom you let your dog bite. Not I, said Jamal. I am a believer in free will. If my dog chooses to hate the whole human race except myself, it must be free to do so. After breakfast, Abdullah looked for his nightcap again. It was simply not there. He tried thinking carefully back to the last time he truly remembered wearing it, and that was when he laid down to sleep the previous night, when he was thinking of taking the carpet to the Grand Vizir. After that came the dream. He had found he was wearing the nightcap then. He remembered taking it off to show Flower in the Night, what a lovely name, that he was not bald. From then on, as far as he could recall, he had carried the nightcap in his hand until the moment when he had sat down beside her on the edge of the fountain. After that, when he recounted his history of his kidnapping by Kabul Akba, he had a clear memory of waving both hands freely as he talked, and he knew that the nightcap had not been in either one. Things did disappear like that in dreams, he knew, but the evidence pointed all the same to his having dropped it as he sat down. Was it possible he had left it lying on the grass beside the fountain? In which case, Abdullah stood stock still in the center of the booth, staring into the rays of sunlight which, oddly enough, no longer seemed full of squalid motes of dust and old incense. Instead, they were pure, golden slices of heaven itself. It was not a dream, said Abdullah. Somehow, his depression was clear gone. Even breathing was easier. It was real, he said. He went to stand thoughtfully, looking down at the magic carpet. That had been in the dream too, in which case, it follows that you transported me to some rich man's garden while I slept, he said to it. Perhaps I spoke and ordered you to do so in my sleep. Very likely. I was thinking of gardens. You are even more valuable than I realized. And that is the end of chapter 2. My. Very interesting, this book. I saw a couple of you say while I was reading that the book was also sounding pretty familiar to you too. What did you say? It does seem too familiar. It does. Yeah. Also, thank you for the 125 stream streak, Gaisu. And welcome in, Biscuit. Nice to see you. Best thing for bed for real? Oh, what, listening to me read in the rain? It is nice, isn't it? I think so. Anyway. Let me put the book down and stretch. What do we think so far, chat? Yes, you. Oh, you silly Caro. Thank you. It's pretty interesting, right, so far? The book? Castle in the Air? Very surprising. I'm loving it. I will admit, I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of the names right, or any of the names of the places right, but, I think as long as I deliver it, confidently, you guys won't mind. I have a mix of Casket's reading and watching The Black Cauldron. Tonight's a good night. Ooh, The Black Cauldron is good. It is pretty good so far. It is interesting, right? Do you think that this, does anyone know what inspired Aladdin, the story of Aladdin? Because I didn't think it was this book. Maybe whatever inspired this book is what inspired Aladdin too, perhaps? Because it is all very familiar, and I'm trying to think if the familiarity is because of Aladdin or not, you know? I think it was Arabian Nights. Oh, Sophie, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Welcome to the afterlife, friend. Lovely to have you here. I think Arabian Nights probably. Probably. I don't know. It's just so, it's like right on the tip of my tongue, you know? I don't know. Thank you for that hydrate again. How are you liking the book so far? I think I like it. Other than tripping up on some of the names because they're just sounds I don't normally make. Um I think I think the book is pretty good so far. I mean, imagine falling asleep on a carpet. First of all, imagine being a carpet merchant that sleeps on a pile of carpets, and then the carpet that you just put on top took you to a place you were dreaming about. That's that's pretty fanciful. I'm into it. I'm into it. Hmm. Should we commence with chapter 3, chat? Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Chapter 3, in which Flower in the Night discovers several important facts. Aladdin was not traditionally part of Arabian Nights, but the story of Aladdin is pretty old and spans multiple regions in the Middle East and Central Asia. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. I was like, there's no way that this informs that. They're both informed by similar things, though, for sure. Because there's just so much like uncanny um overlap, you know? Mm. Anyway, chapter 3, in which Flower in the Night discovers several important facts. Abdullah carefully tied the carpet round the roof pole again and went out into the bazaar, where he sought out the booth of the most skillful of the various artists who traded there. After the usual opening courtesies, in which Abdullah called the artist prince of the pencil an enchanter with chalks, and the artist retorted by calling Abdullah cream of customers and duke of discernment, Abdullah said, I want drawings of every size, shape, and kind of man that you have ever seen. Draw me kings and paupers, merchants and workmen, fat and thin, young and old, handsome and ugly, and also plain average. If some of these are kinds of men that you have never seen, I require you to invent them, O paragon of the paintbrush. And if your invention fails, which I hardly think likely, O aristocrat of artists, then all you need to do is turn your eyes outwards, gaze, and copy. Abdullah flung out one arm to point to the teeming, rushing crowds shopping in the bazaar. He was moved almost to tears at the thought that this everyday sight was something Flower in the Night had never seen. The artist drew his hand dubiously down his scraggy beard. For sure, noble admirer of mankind, he said, this I can easily do. But could the jewel of judgment perhaps inform this humble draughtsman what these many portraits of men are needed for? Why should the crown and diadem of the drawing board wish to know this? Abdullah asked, rather dismayed. Assuredly, the chieftain of customers will understand that this crooked worm needs to know what medium to use, the artist replied. In fact, he was simply curious about the most unusual order. Whether I paint in oils on wood canvas, or pen upon paper or vellum, or even in fresco upon a wall, depends on what this pearl among patrons wishes to do with the portraits. Ah, paper, please, Abdullah said hastily. He had no wish to make his meeting with Flower in the Night public. It was clear to him that her father must be a very rich man, who would certainly object to a young carpet merchant showing her other men besides this prince of Auchenstein. Sorry. The portraits are for an invalid who has never been able to walk abroad as other men do. Then You are a champion of charity, said the artist, and he agreed to draw the pictures for a surprisingly small sum. No, no, child of fortune, do not thank me, he said, when Abdullah tried to express his gratitude. My reasons are three. First, I have laid by me many portraits which I do for my own pleasure, and to charge you for those is not honest, since I would have drawn them anyway. Second, the task you set is 10 times more interesting than my usual work, which is to do portraits of young women, or their bridegrooms, or of horses and camels, all of whom I have to make handsome, regardless of reality, or else to paint rows of sticky children whose parents wish them to seem like angels, again, regardless of reality. And my third reason is that I think you are mad, my most noble of customers, and to exploit you would be unlucky. It became known almost immediately all over the bazaar that young Abdullah, the carpet merchant, had lost his reason and would buy any portraits the people had for sale. This was a great nuisance to Abdullah. For the rest of the day he was constantly being interrupted by persons arriving with long and flowery speeches about this portrait of their grandmother, which only poverty would induce them to part with, or this portrait of the Sultan's racing camel which happened to fall off the back of a cart, or this locket containing a picture of their sister. It took Abdullah much time to get rid of these people, and on several occasions he did actually buy a painting or drawing if the subject was a man, which of course kept people coming. Only today. My offer extends only until sunset today, he told the gathering crowd at last. Let all with a picture of a man for sale come to me an hour before sunset and I will buy, but only then. This left him a few hours of peace in which to experiment with the carpet. He was wondering by now if he was right to think that his visit to the garden had been any more than a dream, for the carpet would not move. Abdullah had naturally tested it after breakfast by asking it to rise up 2 feet again, just to prove that it still would, and it simply lay on the floor. He tested it again when he came back from the artist's booth, and still it just lay there. Perhaps I have not treated you well, he said to it. You have remained with me faithfully, in spite of my suspicions, and I have rewarded you by trying to tie you to a round pole. Would you feel better if I let you lie free on the floor, my friend? Is that it? He left the carpet on the floor, but it still would not fly. It might have been any old hearth rug. Abdullah thought again. In between the times when people were pestering him to buy portraits, he went back to his suspicions of the stranger who had sold him this carpet and to the enormous noise that just happened to break out in Jamal's stall at the precise moment when the stranger ordered the carpet to rise. He recalled that he had seen the man's lips move both times, but had not heard all that was said. That is it, he cried out, smashing his finger into his palm. A code word needs to be spoken before it will move, which, for reasons of his own, no doubt highly sinister, this man withheld from me, the villain, and this word I must have spoken in my sleep. He rushed to the back of his booth and rummaged out the tattered dictionary he had once used at school. Then, standing on the carpet, he cried out, Aardvark, fly, please. Nothing happened, either then or for any word beginning with A. Doggedly, Abdullah went on to B, and when that did no good, he went on again, through the whole dictionary, with the constant interruptions from portrait sellers. This took him some time. Nevertheless, he reached Zimmergy? I guess that's a word, chat. In the early evening, without the carpet having so much as twitched. Then, it has to be a made-up word or a foreign one, he cried out feverishly. It was that, or believe that Flower in the Night was only a dream after all. Even if she was real, his chances of getting the carpet to take him to her seemed slimmer by the minute. He stood there, uttering every strange sound and every foreign word he could think of, and still the carpet made no move of any kind. Abdullah was interrupted again, an hour before sundown, by a large crowd gathered outside, carrying bundles and big flat packages. The artist had to push his way through the crowd with his portfolio of drawings. The following hour was hectic in the extreme. Abdullah inspected paintings, rejected portraits of aunts and mothers, and beat down huge prices asked for bad drawings of nephews. In the course of that hour he acquired, beside the 100 excellent drawings from the artist, 89 further pictures, lockets, drawings, and even a piece of a wall with a face dabbed on it. He also parted with almost all the money he had left over after buying the magic carpet. If it was magic, by the time he finally convinced the man, who claimed that the oil painting of his fourth wife's mother was enough like a man to qualify, that this was not the case, and pushed him out of the booth. It was dark. He was, by then, too tired and wrought up to eat. He would have gone straight to bed had not Jamal, who had been doing a roaring trade selling snacks to the waiting crowd, arrived with tender meat on a skewer. "I don't know what has gotten into you," Jamal said. "I used to think you were normal, but mad or not, you must eat." "There is no question of madness," Abdullah said. "I have simply decided to go into a new line of business." But he ate the meat. At last, he was able to pile his 189 pictures onto the carpet and lie down amongst them. "Now listen to this," he told the carpet. "If by some lucky chance I happen to say your command word in my sleep, you must instantly fly with me to the night garden of Flower in the Night." That seemed the best he could do. It took him a long time to get to sleep. He woke to the dreamy fragrance of night flowers and a hand gently prodding him. Flower in the Night was leaning over him. Abdullah saw she was far lovelier than he had ever remembered her. "You really did bring the pictures," she said. "You are very kind." "I did it," Abdullah thought triumphantly. "Yes," he said. "I have 189 kinds of men here. I think this ought to give you at least a general idea." He helped her unhook a number of the golden lamps and put them in a ring beside the bank. Then Abdullah showed her the pictures, holding them up under a lamp first, then leaning them up against the bank. He began to feel like a pavement artist. Flower in the Night inspected each man as Abdullah showed them, absolutely impartially and with great concentration. Then she picked up a lamp and inspected the artist's drawings all over again. This pleased Abdullah. The artist was a true professional. He had drawn men exactly as Abdullah asked, from a heroic and kingly person, evidently taken from a statue, to the hunchback whose clean shoes in the bazaar, and had even included a self-portrait halfway through. "Yes, I see," Flower in the Night said at last. "Men do vary a lot. Just as you said, my father is not at all typical, and neither of you, of course." "So you admit I am not a woman," said Abdullah. "I am forced to do so," she said. "I apologize for my error." Then she carried the lamp along the bank, inspecting certain of the pictures a third time. Abdullah noticed, rather nervously, that the ones she had singled out were the handsomest. He watched her leaning over them with a small frown on her face, and a curly tendril of dark hair straying over the frown. Looking thoroughly intent, he began to wonder what he had started. Flower in the Night collected the pictures together and stacked them neatly in a pile beside the bank. "It is just as I thought," she said. "I prefer you to every single one of these. Some of these look far too proud of themselves, and some look selfish and cruel. You are unassuming and kind. I intend to ask my father to marry me to you, instead of to the Prince of Oakenstan. Would you mind?" The garden seemed to swirl round Abdullah in a blur of gold and silver and dusky green. I I think that might not work, he managed to say at last. Why not? She asked. Are you married already? No, no, he said. It is not that. The law allows a man to have as many wives as he can afford, but the frown came back to Flower in the Night's forehead. How many husbands are women allowed? She asked. Only one, Abdullah said, rather shocked. That is extremely unfair, Flower in the Night observed, musingly. She sat on the bank and thought. Would you say it is possible that the prince in Oakenstan has some wives already? Abdullah watched the frown grow on her forehead and the slender fingers of her right hand tapping, almost irritably, on the turf. He knew he had indeed started something. Flower in the Night was discovering that her father had kept her ignorant of a number of important facts. If he is a prince, Abdullah said rather nervously, I think it entirely possible that he has quite a number of wives, yes. Then he is being greedy, Flower in the Night stated. This takes a weight off my mind. Why did you say that my marrying you might not work? You mentioned yesterday that you are a prince as well. Abdullah felt his face heating up, and he cursed himself for babbling out his daydream to her, though he told himself that he had had every reason to believe he was dreaming when he told her. This did not make him feel any better. True, but I also told you I was lost and far from my kingdom, he said. As you might conjecture, I am now forced to make my living by humble means. I sell carpets in the bazaar of Zanzib. Your father is clearly a very rich man. This will not strike him as a fitting alliance. Flower in the Night's fingers drummed quite angrily. You speak as if it is my father who intends to marry you, she said. What is the matter? I love you. Do you not love me? She looked into Abdullah's face as she said this. He looked back into hers, into what seemed an eternity of big, dark eyes. He found himself saying, Yes. Flower in the Night smiled. Abdullah smiled. Several more moonlit eternities went by. I shall come with you when you leave here, Flower in the Night said. Since what you say about my father's attitude to you could well be true, we must get married first and tell my father afterwards. Then there is nothing he can say. Abdullah, who had some experience of rich men, wished he could be sure of that. It may not be quite that simple, he said. In fact, now I think about it, I am certain our only prudent course is to leave Zanzib. This ought to be easy, because I do happen to own a magic carpet. There it is, up on the bank. They brought me here. Unfortunately, it needs to be activated by a magic word, which I seem only able to say in my sleep. Flower in the Night picked up a lamp and held it high so that she could inspect the carpet. Abdullah watched, admiring the grace with which she bent towards it. It seems very old, she said. I have read about such carpets. The command word will probably be a fairly common word pronounced in an old way. My reading suggests these carpets were meant to be used quickly in an emergency, so the word will not be anything too out of the way. Why do you not tell me carefully everything you know about it? Between us, we ought to be able to work it out. From this, Abdullah realized that Flower in the Night, if you discounted the gaps in her knowledge, was both intelligent and very well educated. He admired her even more. He told her, as far as he knew them, every fact about the carpet, including the uproar at Jamal's stall, which had prevented him hearing the command word. Flower in the Night listened and nodded at each new fact. So, she said, let us leave aside the reason why someone should sell you a proven magic carpet and yet make sure you could not use it. That is such an odd thing to do, that I feel sure we should think about it later. But let us first think about what the carpet does. You say it came down when you ordered it to. Did the stranger speak then? She had a shrewd and logical mind. Truly he had found a pearl among women. Abdullah thought. I am quite sure he said nothing, he said. Then, said Flower in the Night, the command word is only needed to start the carpet flying. After that, I see two possibilities. First, that the carpet will do as you say until it touches ground anywhere. Or, second, that it will, in fact, obey your command until it is back at the place where it first started. That is easily proved, Abdullah said. He was dizzy with admiration for her logic. I think the second possibility is the correct one. He jumped on the carpet and cried experimentally, up, and back to my booth. No, no, don't, wait, Flower in the Night cried out at the same instant, but it was too late. The carpet whipped up into the air, and then away sideways with such speed and suddenness that Abdullah was first thrown over on his back, with all the breath knocked out of him, and then found himself hanging, half off, over its frayed edges, at what seemed a terrifying height in the air. The wind of its movement took his breath away as soon as he did manage to breathe. All he could do was to claw frantically for a better grip on the fringe at one end, and before he could work his way back on top of it, let alone speak, the carpet plunged downwards, leaving Abdullah's newly gained breath high in the air above, barged its way through the curtains of the booth, half smothering Abdullah in the process, and landed smoothly and very finally on the floor inside. Abdullah lay on his face gasping, with dizzy memories of turrets whirling past him against a starry sky. Everything had happened so quickly that, at first, all he could think of was that the distance between his booth and the night garden must be quite surprisingly short. Then, as his breath did at last come back, he wanted to kick himself. What a stupid thing to have done. He could at least have waited until Flower in the Night had had time to step on the carpet too. Now Flower in the Night's own logic told him that there was no way to get back to her but to fall asleep again, and, once more, hope he chanced to say the command word in his sleep. But as he had already done it twice, he was fairly sure that he would. He was even more certain that Flower in the Night would work this out for herself and wait in the garden for him. She was intelligent, a pearl among women. She would expect him back in an hour or so. After an hour of alternatively blaming himself and praising Flower in the Night, Abdullah did manage to fall back asleep. But, alas, when he woke, he was still face down on the carpet in the middle of his own booth. Jamal's dog was barking outside, which was what had woken him up. Abdullah, shouted the voice of his father's first wife's brother's son. Are you awake in there? Abdullah groaned. This was all he needed. And that's the end of chapter 3. My, what an eventful chapter. So she... So let's think about this, chat. So they worked out that there's some sort of way to activate this carpet. And he is assuming that it's a code word of some kind. Do you guys think it's a code word of some kind? Or do you think it's intention? I wonder if it might be intention. Also, hi Vex, nice to see you. Thank you for the 5 streams. Okay. Let's all unshrimp and take a sip of water. Hi Drock, nice to see you. It really could be either, I know. Maybe he talks in his sleep. Maybe he does. I don't know. Hey, I'm tired as fuck. Welcome in, tired as fuck. Nice to meet you. How are you doing? Besides being tired, of course, did you have a good day today? It is Saturday, or I guess technically it's Sunday for you now, isn't it? Imagine him saying it in his sleep, though. Yeah, like, what would it be, though? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, not bad. Dinner was good. Hell yeah. Also, Shani, thank you for the lurk. Hey, tired as fuck. I'm Dad. Yes. Dad joke indeed. This book doesn't seem like it's in the same Howl's Moving Castle universe, Still pretty good so far, though. Oh, so you remember how he said Ingery a couple of times? Ingery is the the place where market chipping and all of the little towns that Howell's Castle is connected to. That's it's a different country. I don't know if it's a country. It's a different place. Wait, what? Yeah. And he said that Ingery in their country or place, whatever, they call it Oakenstan. So every time they say, oh, it's spelt O. Let me find it. Every time they say this word, I think it's Oakenstan. They're talking about Ingery with a CH. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh huh. Yeah. Am I pronouncing that wrong? I probably am. Ochenstan. Ochenstan just sounds weird to me personally. Um. Yeah. So he said that place is called Ingery elsewhere. And one of the things that is kind of like in the back of my mind right now is that this princess is supposedly promised to a prince in Oakenstan, but Oakenstan is Ingery. So who would be the prince in Ingery? Would that not be the king's brother? The you guys see what I'm like connecting in my head here, like, you know what I mean? Like, who would be the prince in Ingery? Cuz you know how Howell had to go find the king's brother and save him from the Witch of the Waste. What was his name? Prince Justin? Prince Justin? Could we be talking about Prince Justin? I'm listening. I'm wondering. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. My bad. I'm sorry. Thank you for the hydrate, Crimson. I'm wondering. Possibly, perhaps. Maybe. Because Ingery in Howl's Moving Castle, that's the only prince that I think was mentioned, was Prince Justin. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, if you remember the book. Because Castle in the Air, if she was promised to a prince in Ingery, aka Oakenstan, it could be. Okay, well, speculating aside, maybe we should get back into chapter 4, huh? Okay. Alright, chat. Chapter 4, in which it seems like a reach, but I know the books are connected, so I mean, it is not necessarily Prince Justin, okay? I will say, it's not necessarily Prince Justin, but it could be. Chapter 4, in which concerns marriage and prophecy. Abdullah could not think what Hakim was doing there. His father's first wife's relatives usually only came near him once a month, and they had paid that visit to him 2 days ago. What do you want, Hakim? He shouted warily. To speak to you, of course, Hakim shouted back, urgently. Then, part the curtains and come in, said Abdullah. Hakim inserted his plump body between the hangings. I must say, if this is your vaunted security, son of my aunt's husband, he said, I don't think much of it. Anyone could come in here and surprise you as you slept. The dog outside warned me you were there, Abdullah said. What use is that? Asked Hakim. What would you propose to do if I proved to be a thief? Strangle me with a carpet? No, I cannot approve the safety of your arrangements. What did you wish to say to me? Asked Abdullah. Or did you only come here to find fault as usual? Hakim seated himself pretentiously on a pile of carpets. You lack your normal scrupulous politeness, cousin by marriage, he said. If my father's uncle's son were to hear you, he would not be pleased. I am not answerable to a Sif for my behavior or for anything else, Abdullah snapped. He was thoroughly miserable. His soul cried out for flowers in the night, and he could not get to her. He had no patience with anything else. Then I shall not trouble you with my message, Hakim said, getting up haughtily. Good, said Abdullah. He went to the back of his booth to wash. But it was clear that Hakim was not going away without delivering his message. When Abdullah turned round from washing, Hakim was still standing there. You would do well to change clothes and visit a barber, cousin by marriage, he told Abdullah. At present, you do not look a suitable person to visit our emporium. And why should I visit there? Abdullah asked, somewhat surprised. You all made it clear long ago that I was not welcome. Because, said Hakim, the prophecy made at your birth has come to light in a box, long thought to contain incense. If you care to present yourself at the emporium in proper apparel, this box will be handed over to you. Abdullah had not the slightest interest in this prophecy, nor did he see why he had to go himself to collect it when Hakim could just as easily have brought it with him. He was about to refuse, when it occurred to him that if he succeeded in uttering the correct word in his sleep last night, which he was confident he would, having done it twice before, then he and Flower in the Night would in all probability be eloping together. A man should go to his wedding correctly clothed and washed and shaved. So, since he would be going to baths and barber anyway, he might as well drop in and collect the silly prophecy on his way back. Very well, he said. You may expect me 2 hours before sunset. Hakim frowned. Why so late? Because I have things to do, cousin by marriage, Abdullah explained. The thought of his coming elopement so overjoyed him that he smiled at Hakim and bowed with extreme politeness. Though I lead a busy life that has little time left in it for obeying your orders, I shall be there, never fear. Hakim continued to frown, and turned that frown on Abdullah back over his shoulder as he left. He was obviously both displeased and suspicious. Abdullah could not have cared less. As soon as Hakim was out of sight, he joyfully gave Jamal half his remaining money to guard his booth for the day. In return, he was forced to accept, from the increasingly grateful Jamal, a breakfast consisting of every delicacy on Jamal's stall. Excitement had taken away Abdullah's appetite. There was so much food that, in order not to hurt Jamal's feelings, Abdullah gave most of it secretly to Jamal's dog, which he did warily, because the dog was a snapper as well as a biter. The dog, however, seemed to share its master's gratitude. It thumped its tail politely, ate everything Abdullah offered, and then tried to lick Abdullah's face. Abdullah dodged that piece of politeness. The dog's breath was laden with the scents of elderly squid. He patted it gingerly on its gnarled head, thanked Jamal, and hurried off into the bazaar. This cart. There he invested his remaining cash in the hire of a handcart. This cart he loaded carefully with his best and most unusable carpets. His floral Oakenstan, the glowing mat from Inhiko, the golden Farktons, the glorious patterned ones from the deep desert, and the matched pair from distant Thyak, and wheeled them along to the big booths in the center of the bazaar where the richest merchants traded. For all his excitement, Abdullah was being practical. Flower in the Night's father was clearly very rich. None but the wealthiest of men could afford the dowry for marrying a prince. It was therefore clear to Abdullah that he and Flower in the Night would have to go very far away. or her father could make things very unpleasant for them. But it was also clear to Abdullah that Flower in the Night was used to having the best of everything. She would not be happy roughing it. So Abdullah had to have money. He bowed before the merchant in the richest of the rich booths, and, having called him treasure among traders and most majestic of merchants, offered him the floral Oakenston carpet for a truly tremendous sum. The merchant had been a friend of Abdullah's father. "And why, son of the bazaar's most illustrious," he asked, "should you wish to part with what is surely, by its price, the gem of your collection?" "I am diversifying my trade," Abdullah told him. "As you may have heard, I have been buying pictures and other forms of artwork. In order to make room for these, I am forced to dispose of the least valuable of my carpets, and it occurred to me that a seller of celestial weavings like yourself might consider helping the son of his old friend by taking off my hands this miserable, flowery thing at a bargain price." "The contents of your booth should in future be choice indeed," the merchant said. "Let me offer you half what you ask." "Ah, shrewdest of shrewd men," Abdullah said, "even a bargain costs money, but for you I will reduce my price by 2 coppers. It was a long, hot day, but by the early evening Abdullah had sold all his best carpets for nearly twice as much as he paid for them. He reckoned that he now had enough ready money to keep Flower in the Night in reasonable luxury for 3 months or so. After that, he hoped either that something else would turn up, or that the sweetness of her nature would reconcile her to poverty. He went to the baths. He went to the barber. He called at the scent maker and had himself perfumed with oils. Then he went back to his booth and dressed in his best clothes. These clothes, like the clothes of most merchants, had various cunning insets, pieces of embroidery and ornament twists of braid that were not ornaments at all, but cleverly concealed purses for money. Abdullah distributed his newly earned gold amongst these hiding places and was ready at last. He went, not very willingly, along to his father's old emporium. He told himself that it would pass the time between now and his elopement. It was a curious feeling to go up the shallow cedar steps and enter the place where he had spent so much of his childhood. The smell of it, the cedar wood, and the spices, and the hairy, oily scents of carpets was so familiar that if he shut his eyes, he could imagine he was 10 years old again, playing behind a roll of carpet while his father bargained with a customer. But, with his eyes open, Abdullah had no such illusion. His father's first wife's sister has a regrettable fondness for bright purple. The walls, the trellis screens, the chairs for customers, the cashier's table, and even the cash box had all been painted Fatima's favorite color. Fatima came to meet him in a dress of the same color. "Why, Abdullah, how prompt you are, and how smart you look," she said, and her manners said she had expected him to arrive late and in rags. "He looks almost as if he was dressed for his wedding," Asif said, advancing too, with a smile on his thin, bad-tempered face. It was so rare to see Asif smiling that Abdullah thought for a moment that Asif had ricked his neck and was grimacing with pain. Then Hakim sniggered, which made Abdullah realize that Asif had just said. To his annoyance, he found he was blushing furiously. He was forced to bow politely in order to hide his face. "There's no need to make the boy blush," Fatima cried, which of course made Abdullah blush worse. "Abdullah, what is this rumor we heard that you are suddenly planning to deal in pictures?" "And selling the best of your stock to make room for pictures?" added Hakim. Abdullah ceased to blush. He saw he had been summoned here to be criticized. He was sure of it when Asif added reproachfully, "Our feelings are somewhat hurt, son of my father's niece's husband, that you did not seem to think we could oblige you by taking a few carpets off your hands." "Dear relatives," said Abdullah, "I could not, of course, sell you my carpets. My aim was to make a profit, and I could hardly mulct you, whom my father loved." He was so annoyed that he turned round to go away again, only to find that Hakim had quietly shut and barred the doors. "No need to stay open," Hakim said. "Let us be just family here." "The poor boy," said Fatima. "Never has he had more need of a family to keep his mind in order." "Yes, indeed," said Asif. "Abdullah, some rumors on the bazaar state that you have gone mad. We do not like this." "He is certainly behaving oddly," Hakim agreed. "We don't like such talk connected to a respectable family like ours." This was worse than usual. Abdullah said, "There is nothing wrong with my mind. I know just what I am doing, and my aim is to cease giving you any chance to criticize me, probably by tomorrow. Meanwhile, Hakim told me to come here because you have found prophecy that was made at my birth. Is this correct? Or was it merely an excuse?" He had never been so rude to his father's first wife's relation before, but he was angry enough to feel they deserved it. Oddly enough, instead of being angry with Abdullah in return, all three of his father's first wives' relations began hurryingly, excitedly, round the emporium. "Now where is that box?" said Fatima. Find it," said Asif. "It is the very words of the fortune-teller's poor father's brought to the bedside of his second wife an hour before Abdullah's birth. He must see it." "Written in your own father's hand," Hakim said to Abdullah, "the greatest treasure for you." "Here it is," said Fatima, triumphantly pulling a carved wooden box off of a high shelf. She gave the box to Hasif, who thrust it into Abdullah's hands. Open it," they all three cried excitedly. Abdullah put the box down on the purple cashier's table and sprung the catch. The lid went back, bringing a musty smell from inside, which was perfectly plain and empty apart from a folded yellowish paper. "Get it out, read it," said Fatima, in even greater excitement. Abdullah could not see what the fuss was about, but he unfolded the paper. It had a few lines of writing on it, brown and faded, and definitely his father's. He turned towards the hanging lamp with it. Now that Hakim had shut the main doors, the general purpleness of the emporium made it hard to see in there. "He can barely see," said Fatima. Asif said, "No wonder, there's no light in here. Bring him into the room at the back. The overhead shutters are open there." He and Hakim took hold of Abdullah's shoulders and pushed and hustled him towards the back of the shop. Abdullah was so busy trying to read the pale and scribbly writing of his father that he let them push him until he was positioned under the big overhead louvres in the living room behind the emporium. That was better. Now he knew why his father had been so disappointed in him. The writing said, "These are the words of the wise fortune-teller. This son of yours will not follow you in your trade. 2 years after your death, while he is still very young, he will be raised above all others in this land. As fate decreed it, so I have spoken. My son's fortune is a great disappointment to me. Let fate send me other sons to follow in my trade, or I have wasted 40 gold pieces on this prophecy." "As you see, a great future awaits you, dear boy," said Asif. Somebody giggled. Abdullah looked up from the paper, a little bemused. There seemed to be a lot of scent in the air. The giggle came again, 2 of it, from in front of him. Abdullah's eyes snapped forward. He felt them bulge. 2 extremely fat young women stood in front of him. They met his bulging eyes and giggled again, coyly. Both were dressed to kill, in shiny satin and ballooning gauze, pink on the right, yellow on the left, and hung with more necklaces and bracelets than seemed probable. In addition, the pink one, who was the fattest, had a pearl dangling on her forehead, just below her carefully frizzed hair. The yellow one, who was only just not fattest, wore a sort of amber tiara and had even frizzier hair. Both wore a very large amount of makeup, which was, in both cases, a severe error. As soon as they were sure Abdullah's attention was on them, and it was, he was riveted with horror. Each girl drew a veil from behind her ample shoulders, a pink veil on the left, a yellow veil on the right, and draped it chastely across her forehead and face. Greetings, dear husband, they chorused from beneath the veil. What? Exclaimed Abdullah. We veil ourselves, said the pink one, because you should not look at our faces, said the yellow one, until we are married, finished the pink. There must be some mistake, said Abdullah. Not in the least, said Fatima. These are my nieces, 2 nieces who are here to marry you. Didn't you hear me say I was going to look for a couple of wives for you? The 2 nieces giggled again. He's ever so handsome, said the yellow one. After a fairly long pause, in which he swallowed hard and did his best to control his feelings, Abdullah said politely, Tell me, O relatives of my father's first wife, have you known of the prophecy which was made at my birth for a long time? Ages, said Hakim. Do you take us for fools? Your dear father showed it to us, said Fatima, at the time he made his will. And naturally, we are not prepared to let your great good fortune take you away from the family, Asif explained. We waited only for the moment when you ceased to follow your good father's trade, this surely being the signal for the Sultan to make you a vizier, or invite you to command his armies, or maybe to elevate you in some other way. Then we took steps to ensure that we shared in your good fortune. These 2 brides of yours are close related to all 3 of us. You will naturally not neglect us as you rise. So, dear boy, it only remains for me to introduce you to the magistrate who, as you see, stands ready to marry you. Abdullah had, up till now, been unable to look away from the billowing figures of the 2 nieces. Now he raised his eyes and met the cynical look of the justice of the bazaar, who was just stepping out from behind a screen with his register of marriages in his hand. Abdullah wondered how much he was being paid. Abdullah bowed politely to the justice. I'm afraid this is not possible, he said. I knew he would be unkind and disagreeable, said Fatima. Abdullah, think of the disgrace and disappointment to these poor girls if you refuse them now, after they've come all this way, expecting to be married, and got all dressed up. How could you, nephew? Besides, I've locked all the doors, said Hakim. Don't think you can get away. I am sorry to hurt the feelings of 2 such spectacular young ladies, Abdullah began. The feelings of the 2 brides were hurt anyway, each girl uttering a wail, each putting her veil from her hands, and sobbed heavily. This is awful, wept the pink one. I knew they should have asked him first, cried the yellow one. Abdullah discovered that the sight of females crying, particularly such large ones, who wobbled with it everywhere, made him feel very terrible. He knew he was an oaf and a beast. He was ashamed. The situation was not the girls' fault. They had been used by Asif, Fatima, and Hakim, just as Abdullah had been. But the chief reason he felt so beastly, and which made him truly ashamed, was that he just wanted them to stop, to shut up and stop wobbling. Otherwise, he did not care 2 hoots for their feelings. If he compared them to Flower in the Night, he knew they revolted him. The idea of marrying them struck in his craw. He felt sick, but just because they were whimpering and sniffling and flubbering in front of him, he found himself considering that 3 wives was perhaps not so many after all. The 2 of them would make companions for Flower in the Night when they were all far from Zanzib and home. He would have to explain the situation to them and load them onto the magic carpet. That brought Abdullah back to reason, with a bump, with the sort of bump a magic carpet might make if loaded with 2 such weighty females, always supposing it could even get off the ground with them on it in the first place. They were so very fat. As for thinking they would make companions for the Flower in the Night, phooey. She was intelligent, educated, and kind, as well as beautiful. These 2 had yet to show him that they had a brain cell between them. They wanted to be married, and their crying was a way of bullying him into it, and they giggled. He had never heard Flower in the Night giggle. Here, Abdullah was somewhat amazed to discover that he really and truly did love Flower in the Night just as ardently as he had been telling himself he did, or more, because he now saw he respected her. He knew he would die without her, and if he agreed to marry these two fat nieces, he would be without her. She would call him greedy, like that prince of Oakenstan. I am very sorry, he said, above the loud sobbing. You should really have consulted me first about this, O relatives of my father's first wife. Oh, much honor and most honest justice. It would have saved this misunderstanding. I cannot marry yet. I have made a vow. What vow? Demanded everyone else, the fat brides included, and the justice added, Have you registered this vow? To be legal, all vows must be registered with a magistrate. This was awkward. Abdullah thought rapidly. Indeed, it is registered, O veritable weighted scale of judgment, he said. My father took me to a magistrate to register the vow when he ordered me to make it. I was but a small child at the time. Though I did not understand then, I see now that it was because of the prophecy. My father, being a prudent man, did not wish to see his 40 gold coins wasted. He made me vow that I would never marry until fate had placed me above all others in this land. So you see, Abdullah put his hands in the sleeves of his best suit and bowed regretfully to the two fat brides. I cannot yet marry you, twin plums of candied sugar, but the time will come. Everyone said, Oh, in that case, in various tones of discontentment, and, to Abdullah's profound relief, most of them turned away from him. I always thought your father was a rather grasping man, Fatima added. Even from beyond the grave, Asif agreed. We must wait for this dear boy's elevation, then. The justice, however, stood his ground. And which magistrate was it before whom you made this vow? He asked. I do not know his name, Abdullah invented, speaking with intense regret. He was sweating rather. I was a tiny child, and he appeared to me an old man with a long white beard. That, he thought, would serve as a description of every magistrate there ever was, including the justice standing before him. I shall have to check all records, the justice said irritably. He turned to Asif, Hakim, and Fatima, and, rather coldly, made his formal goodbyes. Abdullah left with him, almost clinging to the justice's official sash, in his hurry to get away from the emporium and the two fat brides. And that is chapter 4. Man, we're making good time, chat. It's hour 2, and we're through chapter 4. That's not too bad. These chapters are kind of long, too. Oh, hi, Timber. Welcome in. Hi, I. Free cuddles. Take my money? Oh, you don't want the cuddles to be free? You want to pay for the cuddles? Oh, well, how much would you like to pay for them then, darling? Hi, Aim. Thank you for claiming your fruit. Thank you so much. 18 pieces of fruit. That's nothing to frown at. Okay, I'm stretching. Gosh, could you imagine being, being, just completely taken off guard by such a crazy scene like that? It's crazy to think his relatives are just now telling him of the prophecy. Right, exactly. And they're only telling him now because they're trying to get something out of him. They're like, oh, you're gonna rise? Well, then I want you to take us with you. And the only way to do that is to make sure your family is linked to mine. Because they keep harping on the fact that it's they're not blood related to him, so they're trying to make it be through marriage. I don't know. It's shady. It's so shady. Also, thank you for the glasses. Thank you. Yeah, very shady. Okay, I hydrated, so no need to redeem it. I did it. Yes, shady indeed. Okay. Let us see. That was chapter 4, right? So we're moving on. Don't give me ideas. No. Don't do it. Save your points. You guys remember, you have to save your points for my debut. August 1st, there's going to be a lot of new redeems. You guys are going to want your points. Okay. Oh, this picture is kind of scary. Chapter 5, which tells how Flower and the Knight's father wished to raise Abdullah above all others in the land. What a day, Abdullah said to himself when he was back inside his booth at last. If my luck goes on this way, I will not be surprised if I never get the carpet to move again. Or, he thought as he laid down on the carpet, still dressed in his best, he might get to the night garden, only to find that Flower in the Night was too annoyed at his stupidity last night to love him any more. Or she might love him still, but have decided not to fly away with him. Or it took him a while to get to sleep. But when he woke, everything was perfect. The carpet was just gliding to a gentle land on the moonlit bank. So Abdullah knew he had said the command word after all, and it was such a short while since he had said it that he almost had a memory of what it was. But it went clean out of his head when Flower in the Night came running eagerly towards him, among the white-scented flowers and the round yellow lamps. "You're here," she called as she ran. "I was quite worried." She was not angry. Abdullah's heart sang. "Are you ready to leave?" he called back. "Jump on beside me." Flower in the Night laughed delightedly. It was definitely no giggle, and came running on across the lawn. The moon seemed just then to go behind a cloud, because Abdullah saw her lit entirely by the lamps for a moment, golden and eager as she ran. He stood up and held out his hands to her. As he did so, the cloud came right back down into the lamplight, and it was not a cloud, but great black leathery wings, silently beating, a pair of equally leathery arms, which hands that had long fingernails like claws reached from the shadows of those fanning wings and wrapped themselves round Flower in the Night. Abdullah saw her jerk as those arms stopped her running. She looked round and up. Whatever she saw made her scream, one single wild frantic scream, which was cut off when one of the leathery arms changed positions to clasp its huge taloned hand over her face. Flower in the Night beat at the arm with her fists, and kicked and struggled, but all quite uselessly. She was lifted up, a small white figure against the huge blackness. The great wings silently beat again. A gigantic foot, with talons like the hands, pressed to the turf of the yard or so from the bank where Abdullah was still in the act of standing up, and a leathery leg flexed mighty calf muscles as the thing, whatever it was, sprang upright. For the merest instant, Abdullah found himself staring into a hideous leather face with a ring through its hooked nose and long upslanting eyes, remote and cruel. The thing was not looking at him. It was simply concentrating on getting itself and its captive airborne. The next second, it was aloft. Abdullah saw it overhead for a heartbeat longer, a mighty flying jinn dangling a tiny pale human girl in its arms. Then the night swallowed it up. It all happened unbelievably quickly. After it, "Follow that jinn," Abdullah ordered the carpet. The carpet seemed to obey. It bellied up from the bank, then almost as if someone had given it another command, it sank back and lay still. "You moth-eaten doormat," Abdullah screamed at it. There was a shout from further down the garden. "This way, men. That scream came from up there." Along the arcade, Abdullah glimpsed moonlight on the metal helmets, and worse still, golden lamplight on swords and crossbows. He did not wait to explain to these people why he had screamed. He flung himself flat on the carpet. "Back to the booth," he whispered to it. "Quickly, please." This time, the carpet obeyed, as quickly as it had the night before. It was up off the bank in an eye blink, and then hurtling sideways across a forbidding high wall. Abdullah had just a glimpse of a large party of northern mercenaries milling around in the lamplit garden before he was speeding above the sleeping roofs and moonlit towers of Zanzib. He had barely time to reflect that Flower in the Night's father must have been even richer than he had thought. Few people could afford that many hired soldiers, and mercenaries from the north were the most expensive kind. Before the carpet panned downwards and brought him smoothly in through the curtains to the middle of his booth. There, he gave himself up to despair. A djinn had stolen flour in the night, and the carpet refused to follow. He knew that was not surprising. A djinn, as everyone in Zanzibar knew, commanded enormous powers in the air and the earth. No doubt the djinn had, as a precaution, ordered everything in the garden to stay where it was while he carried flour in the night away. It had probably not even noticed the carpet, or Abdullah on it, but the carpet's lesser magic had been forced to give way to the djinn's command. So the djinn had stolen away flour in the night, whom Abdullah loved more than his own soul, just as the moment when she was about to run into his arms, and there seemed nothing he could do. He wept. After that, he vowed to throw away all the money hidden in his clothes. It was useless to him now, but before he did, he gave himself over to grief again, noisy misery at first, in which he lamented out loud and beat his breast in the manner of Zanzibar. Then, as cocks crew and people began moving about, he fell into silent despair. There was no point even in moving. Other people might bustle about and whistle and clink buckets, but Abdullah was no longer part of that life. He stayed crouching on the magic carpet, wishing he was dead. So miserable was he that it never occurred to him that he might be in any danger himself. He paid no attention when all the noises in the bazaar stopped, like the birds when a hunter enters a woods. He did not really notice the heavy machinery of feet, nor the regular clank, clank, clank of mercenary armor that went with it. When someone barked, "Halt!" outside his booth, he did not even turn his head. But he did turn round when the curtains of the booth were torn down. He was sluggishly surprised. He blinked his swollen eyes against the powerful sunlight, and wondered vaguely what a troop of northern soldiers was doing coming in here. "That's him," said someone in civilian clothes, who might have been Hakim, and then faded prudently away before Abdullah's eyes could focus on him. "You," snapped the squad leader. "Out. With us." "What?" said Abdullah. "Fetch him," said the leader. Abdullah was bewildered. He protested feebly when they dragged him to his feet and twisted his arms to make him walk. He went on protesting as they marched him at the double, clank, 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 out of the bazaar and into the west quarter. Before long, he was protesting very strongly indeed. "What is this?" he panted. "I demand, as a citizen, where are going?" "Shut up, you'll see," they answered. They were too fit to pant. A short while after, they ran Abdullah in under a massive stone gate, while a block of stone, glaringly white in the sun, into a blazing court, where they spent 5 minutes outside an oven-like smithy, loading Abdullah with chains. He protested even more. "What is this for? Where is this? I demand to know." "Shut up," said the squad leader. He remarked to his second in command, in his barbarous northern accent. "They always whinge so. These Zanzibis got no notion of dignity." While the squad leader was saying this, the smith, who was from Zanzibar too, murmured to Abdullah, "The Sultan wants you. I don't think much to your chances either. Last one I chained like this got crucified." "But I haven't done anything," protested Abdullah. "Shut up," screamed the squad leader. "Finished, Smith. Right? At the double." And they ran Abdullah off again, across the glaring yard and into the large building beyond. Abdullah would have said it was impossible even to walk in those chains. They were so heavy. But it is wonderful what you can do if you party of grim-faced soldiers are quite set on making you do it. He ran, clank, clankle, clank, clankle, clash, until at last, with an exhausted jingle, he arrived at the foot of a high raised seat made of cool blue and gold tiles and piled with cushions. There, the soldiers all went down on one knee, in a distant, decorous way, as northern soldiers did to the person who was paying them. "Present prisoner Abdullah, my lord Sultan," the squad leader said. Abdullah did not kneel. He followed the customs of Zanzib and fell on his face. Besides, he was exhausted, and it was easier to fall down with a mighty clatter than do anything else. The tiled floor was blessedly, wonderfully cool. "Make the son of a camel's excrement kneel," said the Sultan. "Make the creature look us in the face." His voice was low, but it trembled with anger. A soldier hauled on the chains, and 2 others pulled on Abdullah's arms until they had got him sort of bent on his knees. Then they held him that way, and Abdullah was glad. He would have crumpled up in horror otherwise. The man lounging on the tiled throne was fat and bald and wore a bushy gray beard. He was slapping at a cushion in a way that looked idle, but was really bitterly angry, with a white cotton thing that had a tassel on top. It was this tassel thing that made Abdullah see what trouble he was in. The thing was his own nightcap. "Well, dog from a muck heap," said the Sultan, "where is my daughter?" "I have no idea," Abdullah said miserably. "Do you deny," said the Sultan, dangling the nightcap as if it were a severed head he was holding up by his hair. "Do you deny that this is your nightcap? Your name is inside it, you miserable salesman. It was found by me, by us, in person, inside my daughter's trinket box, along with 82 portraits of common persons, which has been hidden by my daughter in 82 cunning places. Do you deny that you crept into my night garden and presented my daughter with these portraits? Do you deny that you then stole my daughter away?" "Yes, I do deny that," said Abdullah. "I do not deny, O most exalted defender of the weak, the nightcap or the pictures, although I must point out that your daughter is clever in hiding that. Your daughter is cleverer in hiding than you are in finding, great wielder of wisdom. For I gave her, in fact, 170 more pictures that you haven't discovered. But I have most certainly not stolen Flower in the Night away. She was snatched from before my very eyes by a huge and hideous jinn. I have no more idea than you, most celestial self, where she is now." "A likely story," said the Sultan. "Jinn indeed. Liar. Worm." "I swear it is true," Abdullah cried out. He was in such despair by now that he hardly cared what he did. "Get any holy object you like, and I swear to the jinn on it. Have me enchanted to tell the truth, and I will still say the same, O mighty crusher of criminals, for it is the truth. And since I am probably far more desolate than yourself by the loss of your daughter, great Sultan, glory of our land, I implore you to kill me now and spare me a life of misery." "I will willingly have you executed," said the Sultan. "But first tell me where she is." "But I have told you, wonder of the world," said Abdullah. "I do not know where she is." "Take him away," the Sultan said with great calmness to his kneeling soldiers. They sprang up readily and pulled Abdullah to his feet. "Torture the truth out of him," the Sultan added. "When we find her, you can kill him, but have him linger until then. I dare say the Prince of Oakhenstan will accept her as a widow if I double the dowry." "You mistake sovereign of sovereigns," Abdullah gasped, as the soldiers clattered him across the tiles. "I have no idea where the jinn went, and my great sorrow is that he took her before we had any chance to get married." "What?" shouted the Sultan. "Bring him back." The soldiers at once trailed Abdullah and his chains back to the tilted seat, where the Sultan was now leaning forward and glaring. "Did my clean ear become soiled by hearing you say you are not married to my daughter, filth?" he demanded. "That is correct, mighty monarch," said Abdullah. "The jinn came before we could elope." The Sultan glared down at him in what seemed to be horror. "This is the truth?" "I swear," said Abdullah, "that I have not yet so much as kissed your daughter. I had intended to seek out a magistrate." as soon as we were far from Zanzib. I know what is proper, but I also felt it proper to make sure first that Flower in the Night indeed wished to marry me. Her decision struck me as made in ignorance, despite the 189 pictures. If you will forgive me saying so, protector of patriots, your method of bringing up your daughter is decidedly unsound. She took me for a woman when she first saw me. So, said the Sultan musingly, when I set soldiers to catch and kill the intruder in the garden last night. So, said the Sultan musingly, when I set soldiers to catch and kill the intruder in the garden last night, it could have been disastrous, you fool, he said to Abdullah, slave and mongrel who dare to criticize. Of course, I had to bring my daughter up as I did. The prophecy made at her birth was that she would marry the first man, apart from me, that she saw. Despite the chains, Abdullah straightened up. For the first time that day, he felt a twinge of hope. The Sultan was staring down the gracefully tiled and ornamented room, thinking. The prophecy suited me very well, he remarked. I had long wished for an alliance with the countries of the north, for they have better weapons than we can make here. Some of those weapons being truly sorcerous, I understand. But the Prince of Oakenstan are very hard to pin down, so all I had to do, so I thought, was to isolate my daughter from any possibility of seeing a man, and, naturally, give her the best of educations otherwise, to make sure she could sing and dance and make herself pleasing to a prince. Then, when my daughter was of marriageable age, I invited the prince here on a visit of state. He was to come here next year, when he had finished subduing a land he had just conquered with those same excellent weapons. And I knew that as soon as my daughter set eyes on him, the prophecy would make sure that I had him. His eyes turned balefully down on Abdullah. Then my plans are upset by an insect like you. That is unfortunately true, most prudent of rulers, Abdullah admitted. Tell me, is this Prince of Oakenstan by any chance somewhat old and ugly? I believe him to be hideous in the same northern fashion as these mercenaries, the Sultan said, at which Abdullah sensed the soldiers, most of whom ran to freckles and reddish hair, stiffened rather. Why do you ask, dog? Because, if you will forgive further criticism of your great wisdom, O nurturer of our nation, this seems somewhat unfair on your daughter, Abdullah observed. He felt the eyes of the soldiers turn to him, wondering at his daring. Abdullah did not care. He felt he had little to lose. Women do not count, said the Sultan. Therefore, it is impossible to be unfair to them. I disagree, said Abdullah, at which the soldiers stared even harder. The Sultan glowered down at him. His powerful hands wrung the nightcap as if it were Abdullah's neck. Be silent, you diseased toad, he said, or you will make me forget myself and order your instant execution. Abdullah relaxed a little. Oh, absolute sword among the citizens, I implore you to kill me now, he said. I have transgressed, and I have sinned, and I have trespassed in your night garden. Be quiet, said the Sultan. You know perfectly well I can't kill you until I have found my daughter and made sure she marries you. Abdullah relaxed further. Your slave does not follow your reasoning, O jewel of judgment, he protested. I demand to die now. The Sultan practically snarled at him. If I have learned one thing, he said, from this sorry business, it is that even I, Sultan of Zanzib, though I am, cannot cheat fate. That prophecy will get itself fulfilled somehow, I know that. Therefore, if I wish my daughter to marry the Prince of Oakenstan, I must first go along with the prophecy. Abdullah relaxed almost completely. He had naturally seen this straight away, but he had been anxious to make sure the Sultan had worked it out too. And he had. Clearly, Flower in the Night inherited her logical mind from her father. Oh, JT, thank you so much for the raid. We are almost done with this chapter. So, where is my daughter? Asked the Sultan. I have told you, O sun shining upon Zanzib and Abdullah, the Jinn. I do not, for a moment, believe in the Jinn, said the Sultan. It is far too convenient. You must have hidden the girl somewhere. Take him away, he said to the soldiers, and shut him in the safest dungeon we have. Leave the chains on him. He must have used some form of enchantment to get into the garden, and he can probably use it to escape unless we are careful. Abdullah was unable to avoid flinching at this. The Sultan noticed. He smiled nastily. Then, he said, I want a house-to-house search made for my daughter. She is to be brought to the dungeon for the wedding as soon as she is found. His eyes turned musingly back to Abdullah. Until then, he said, I shall entertain myself by inventing new ways to kill you. At the moment, I favor impaling you upon a 40-foot stake and then losing vultures to eat bits off of you. But I could change my mind if I think of something worse. As the soldiers dragged him away, Abdullah nearly despaired again. He thought of the prophecy made at his own birth. A 40-foot stake would rise him above all others in the land very nicely. And that is the end of Chapter 5. Hi, Vixie. Welcome in. Nice to see you. JT, did you just spam me with a raid? Please don't spam me with raids, okay? Thank you very much. What do you guys think is happening? So, the Sultan found... Saw Abdullah on the roof, I guess? I guess he didn't make a clean escape. Saw him on the roof and found his cap in her room. Must have been. And then tracked him down and is now blaming him? Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. And now he's going to be in prison. I have no idea how the carpet's going to get to him now. Guy needs anger management, that's for sure. Yeah, for real. So the Sultan thinks he took Flower of the Night. Yeah, definitely. Definitely thinks he took him. And I mean, I guess I don't blame him, right? Because he's so, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid? So paranoid about the fact that he really wanted to get richer. That sounds like Aladdin. It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? And it is also pretty interesting that her name is Flower in the Night. And, like, in Aladdin, like, the girl's name is Jasmine. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Didn't Jasmine also have a fountain? I swear. I think so. Okay, chat. She did? Yeah, I thought so. Let me plug my phone in really quick just to make sure it doesn't die on me. Perfect. Okay. All right. Are you guys ready for Chapter 6? Let's see. What time is it? It's about midnight. We have about an hour or so left of stream. We're getting through a lot of books. A lot of chapters today. Okay. Chapter 6. Which shows how Abdullah went from the frying pan into the fire. Hi, Silver, welcome in. They put Abdullah in a deep and smelly dungeon where the only light came through a tiny grating high up in the ceiling, and that light was not daylight. It probably came from a distant window at the end of a passage on the floor above, where the grating was part of the floor. Knowing that this was what he had to look forward to, Abdullah tried, as the soldiers dragged him away, to fill his eyes and mind with images of light. In the pause while the soldiers were unlocking the outside door to the dungeons, he looked up and around. They were in a dark little courtyard with blank walls of stone standing like cliffs all about. But if he tipped his head right back, Abdullah could just see a slender spire in the mid-distance, outlining against the rising gold of morning. It amazed him to see that it was only an hour after dawn. Above the spire, the sky was deep blue with just one cloud standing peacefully in it. Morning was still flushing the cloud red and gold, giving it the look of a high-piled castle with golden windows. Golden light caught the wings of a white bird circling the spire. Abdullah was sure this was the last beauty he would ever see in his life. He stared backwards at it as the soldiers lugged him inside. He tried to treasure this image when he was locked in the cold gray dungeon, but it was impossible. The dungeon was another world. For a long time he was too miserable even to notice how cramped he was in his chains. When he did notice, he shifted and clanked about on the cold floor, but it did not help very much. I have to look forward to a lifetime of this, he told himself. Unless someone rescues Flower in the Night, of course. That did not seem likely, since the Sultan refused to believe in the jinn. After this, he tried to stave off despair with his daydreams, but somehow, thinking of himself as a prince who had been kidnapped did not help. He knew it was untrue, that he kept thinking guiltily that Flower in the Night had believed him when he told her. She must have decided to marry him because she thought he was a prince. Being a princess herself, as he now knew. He simply could not imagine himself ever daring to tell her the truth. For a while, it seemed to him that he deserved the worst fate the Sultan could invent for him. Then, he began thinking of Flower in the Night, herself, wherever she was. She was certainly at least as scared and miserable as he himself. Abdullah yearned to comfort her. He wanted to rescue her so much that he spent some time retching uselessly at his chains. For certainly nobody else is likely to try, he muttered. I must get out of here. Then, although he was sure it was another notion as silly as his daydream, he tried to summon the magic carpet. He visualized it lying on the floor of his booth, and he called to it, out loud, over and over again. He said all the magic-sounding words he could think of, hoping one of them would be the command word. Nothing happened, and how silly to think it would, Abdullah thought. Even if the carpet could hear him from the dungeon, supposing he got the command word right at last, how could even a magic carpet wriggle its way in here through the tiny grating? And suppose it did wriggle in, how would that help Abdullah to get out? Abdullah gave up and leaned against the wall, half dozing, half despairing. It must now be the heat of day, when most folk in Zanzibar took at least a short rest. Abdullah himself, when he was not visiting one of the public parks, usually sat on a pile of his less good carpets in the shade in front of his stall, drinking fruit juice or wine if he could afford it, and chatting lazily with Jamal. No longer. And this is just my first day, he thought morbidly. I'm keeping track of the hours now. How long before I lose track of the days? He shut his eyes. One good thing, a house-to-house search for the Sultan's daughter, would cause at least some annoyance to Fatima, Hakim, and Asif, simply because they were known to be the only family Abdullah had. He hoped soldiers turned the purple emporium upside down. He hoped they slit the wall and unrolled all the carpets. He hoped they arrested. Something landed on the floor, beyond Abdullah's feet. So they throw me some food, Abdullah thought, and I would rather starve. He opened his eyes lazily. They shot wide of their own accord. There, on the dungeon floor, lay the magic carpet. Upon it, peacefully sleeping, lay Jamal's bad-tempered dog. Abdullah stared at both of them. He could imagine how in the heat of midday the dog might lie down in the shade of Abdullah's booth. He could see that it would lie on the carpet because it was comfortable. But how a dog, could chance to say the command word was beyond him to understand entirely. As he stared, the dog began dreaming. Its paws worked, its snout wrinkled, and it snuffed, as if it had caught the most delicious possible scent, and it uttered a faint whimper, as if whatever it smelt in the dream was escaping from it. "Is it possible, my friend," Abdullah said to it, "that you were dreaming of me, and of the time I gave you my breakfast?" The dog, in its sleep, heard him. It uttered a loud snore and woke up, dog-like. It wasted no time wondering how it came to be in the strange dungeon. It sniffed and smelled. Abdullah, it sprang up with a delighted squeak, planted its paws among the chains on Abdullah's chest, and enthusiastically licked his face. Abdullah laughed and rolled his head to keep his nose out of the dog's squiddy breath. He was quite as delighted as the dog. "So you were dreaming of me," he said. "My friend, I shall arrange for you to have a bowl of squid daily. You have saved my life and possibly Flower in the Nights, too." As soon as the dog's rapture had abated a little, Abdullah began rolling and working himself along the floor in his chains until he was lying, propped on one elbow, on top of the carpet. He gave a great sigh. Oh, goodness. What are you reading? Oh, Castle in the Air, my friend. Welcome in. Let me see. Where did I leave off? Oh, he gave a great sigh. Now he was safe. "Come along," he said to the dog. "Get on the carpet, too." But the dog had found the scent of what was certainly a rat in the corner of the dungeon. It was pursuing the smell with excited snorts. At each snort, Abdullah felt the carpet quiver beneath him. It gave him the answer he needed. "Come along," he said to the dog. "If I leave you here, they will find you where they came to question me, and they will assume I have turned myself into a dog. Then my fate will be yours. You have brought me the carpet and revealed to me its secret, and I cannot see you stuck 40-foot stake." The dog had its nose rammed into the corner. It was not attending. Abdullah heard unmistakably, even through the thick walls of the dungeon, the tramp of feet and the rattle of keys. Someone was coming. He gave up persuading the dog. He lay flat on the carpet. "Here, boy," he said. "Come and lick my face." The dog understood that. It left the corner, jumped on Abdullah's chest, and proceeded to obey him. "Carpet, to the bazaar, but do not land. Hover beside Jamal's stall." The carpet rose and rushed sideways, which was just as well. Keys were unlocking the dungeon door. Abdullah was not any too sure how the carpet left the dungeon, because the dog was still licking his face, and he was forced to keep his eyes shut. He felt a dank shadow pass across him. Perhaps that was when they melted through the wall. And then bright sunlight. The dog lifted its head into the sunlight, puzzled. Abdullah squinted sideways across the chains and saw a high wall rear in front of them, and then fall below as the carpet rose smoothly over it. Then came a succession of towers and roofs quite familiar to Abdullah, though he had only seen them by night before. And after that the carpet went planing down towards the outer edge of the bazaar, for the palace of the Sultan was indeed only 5 minutes' walk from Abdullah's booth. Jamal's stall came into view, and, beside it, Abdullah's own wrecked booth, with carpets flung all over the walkway. Obviously, soldiers had searched there for Flower in the Night. Jamal was dozing, with his head on his arm, between a big simmering pot of squid and a charcoal grill with skewering meat smoking on it. He raised his head, and his one eye stared at the carpet, came to hang in the air in front of him. "Down, boy," Abdullah said. "Jamal, call your dog." Jamal was clearly very scared. It is no fun keeping the stall next door to anyone a sultan wishes to impale on a stake. He seemed speechless, since the dog was taking no notice of either Abdullah struggling to sit, clanking, rattling, and sweating. This tipped the dog off. It jumped nimbly to the stall counter, where Jamal absently seized it in his arms. "What do you want me to do?" he asked, eyeing the chains. "Shall I fetch the blacksmith?" Abdullah was touched at this proof of Jamal's friendship, but sitting up had given him a view down the walkway between the stalls. He could see the soles of running feet down there and flying garments. It seemed that one boothkeeper was on his way to fetch the watch, though there was something about the running figure that reminded Abdullah rather strongly of a thief. "No," he said, "there's no time." Clanking, he wriggled his left leg over the edge of the carpet. "Do this for me instead. Put your hand on the embroidery above my left boot." Jamal obediently stretched out a brawny arm and, very gingerly, touched the embroidery. "Is it spelled?" he asked nervously. "No," said Abdullah. "It's a hidden purse. Put your hand in and take the money out." Jamal was puzzled, but his fingers groped, found the way into the purse, and came out as a fistful of gold. "There's a fortune here," he said. "Will this buy your freedom?" "No," said Abdullah. "Yours. They'll be after you and your dog for helping me. Take the gold and the dog and get out. Leave Zanzib. Go north to the barbarous place where you can hide." "North?" said Jamal. "But whatever can I do in the north?" "Buy everything you need and set up a Rashpuri restaurant," said Abdullah. "There's enough gold to do it, and you're an excellent cook. You can make your fortune there." "Really?" said Jamal, staring from Abdullah to his handful of money. "You really think I could?" Abdullah had been keeping a wary eye on the walkway. Now he saw the space fill, not with the watch, but with northern mercenaries, and they were running. "Only if you go now," he said. Jamal caught the clank, clank of running soldiers. He leaned out to look and make sure. Then he whistled his dog and was gone, so swiftly and quietly that Abdullah could only admire. Jamal had even spared time to move the meat off the grill so that it would not burn. All the soldiers were going to find there was a cauldron of half-boiled squid. Abdullah whispered to the carpet, "To the desert, fast." The carpet was off at once, with its usual sideways rush. Abdullah thought he certainly would have been thrown off of it, but for the weight of his chains, which caused the carpet to bulge downward in the center, rather like a hammock, and speed was necessary. The soldiers shouted behind him. There was some loud bangs. For a few instants, 2 bullets and a crossbow bolt carved the blue sky beside the carpet, and then fell behind. The carpet hurtled on, across roofs, over walls, beside towers, and then, skimming palm trees, market gardens. Finally, it shot forth into hot gray emptiness, shimmering white and yellow under a huge bowl of sky, where Abdullah's chains began to grow uncomfortably warm. The rushing of air stopped. Abdullah raised his head and saw Zanzib as a surprisingly small clump of towers on the horizon. The carpet sailed slowly past a person riding a camel, who turned his well-veiled face to watch. It began to sink towards the sand. At this, the person on the camel turned his camel too and urged it into a trot after the carpet. Abdullah could almost see him thinking gleefully that here was his chance to get his hands on a genuine, working magic carpet, and its owner in chains and in no position to resist him. "Up, up!" he almost shrieked at the carpet. "Fly north!" The carpet lumbered up into the air again. Annoyance and reluctance breathed from every thread of it. It turned in a heavy half-circle and sailed gently northward at walking pace. The person on the camel cut across the middle of the half-circle and came on at a gallop. Since the carpet was only about 9 feet in the air, it was a sitting target for someone on a galloping camel. Abdullah saw it was time for some quick talking. "Beware," he shouted at the camel rider. "Zanzib has cast me out in chains for fear I spread the plague I have." The rider was not quite fooled. He reined in his camel and followed at a more cautious pace, while he wrestled a tent pole out of his baggage. Clearly, he intended to tip Abdullah off the carpet with it. Abdullah turned his attention hastily to the carpet. "Oh, most excellent of carpets," he said. "Oh, brightest colored and most delicately woven, whose lovely textile is so cunningly enhanced with magic. I fear I have not treated you hitherto with proper respect. I have snapped commands and even shouted at you, where I now see that your gentle nature requires only the mildest of requests. Forgive, oh forgive." The carpet appreciated this. It stretched tighter in the air and put on a bit of speed. "And, dog that I am," continued Abdullah, "I have caused you to labor in the heat of the desert, weighted most dreadfully with my chains. O best and most elegant of carpets, I think now only of you and how best I might rid you of this great weight. If you were to fly at a gentle speed, say, only a little faster than a camel might gallop, to the nearest spot in the desert northward where I can find someone to remove these chains, would this be agreeable to your amiable and aristocratic nature?" He seemed to have struck the right note. A sort of smug pridefulness exuded from the carpet now. It rose a foot or so, changed direction slightly, and moved forward at a purposeful 70 miles an hour. Abdullah clung to its edges and peered backwards at the frustrated camel rider, who was soon dwindled to a dot in the desert behind. "Oh, most notable of artifacts, you are sultan among carpets, and I am your miserable slave," he said shamelessly. The carpet liked this so much that it went even faster. 10 minutes later, it surged over a sand dune and came to an abrupt stop just below the summit on the other side, slanting. Abdullah was rolled helplessly off in a cloud of sand, and he went on rolling, clattering, jingling, bounding, raising more sand, and then, after desperate efforts, tobogganing, feet first, in a grove of sand, down to the very edge of a small muddy pool in an oasis. A number of ragged people who were crouching over something at the edge of this pool sprang up and scattered as Abdullah plowed in among them. Abdullah's feet caught the thing they were crouching over and shot it back into the pool. One man shouted indignantly and went splashing into the water to rescue it. The rest drew sabers and knives, and in one case a long pistol, and surrounded Abdullah threateningly. "Cut his throat," said one. Abdullah blinked sand out of his eyes and thought he had seldom seen a more villainous crew of men. They all had scarred faces, shifty eyes, bad teeth, and unpleasant expressions. The man with the pistol was the most unpleasant of the lot. He wore a sort of earring through one side of his large hooked nose and a very bushy mustache. His headcloth was pinned up on one side with a flashy red stone in a gold brooch. "Where have you sprung from?" the man said. He kicked Abdullah. "Explain yourself." All of them, including the man who was wading out of the pool with some kind of bottle, looked at Abdullah with expressions that said his explanation better be good, or else. And that was the end of Chapter 6. Hi, Lively. Nice to see you. At home safe, and I got to make the stream. It's a good night. Oh, you're at home safe. Oh, thank goodness. I mean, it is midnight. I'm really glad that you're home by now. Welcome home. Welcome home. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think that the carpet would have dropped Abdullah off in this oasis if he thought these people were going to hurt him? Hard to say, right? I mean, I guess the carpet could have bad intentions, but that was very comforting. Oh, thank you, Voss. It's nice to meet you, by the way. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Sorry I couldn't greet you too properly. I try not to interrupt the reading when I'm in the middle of a chapter. But it's really good to see you. Goodness. It would be the carpet's villain arc. Yes, exactly right. Exactly. The carpet's villain arc indeed. Mm, I kind of I kind of think that maybe the carpet might be a little bit more agreeable with Abdullah now though, after all of the praise, right? I mean, that would probably work on me. Mm. Some of our mods are writers. Yes. Yes. Oh, Luke, thank you for mentioning that. Oh, Voss, you're an author. Cute. Very cool. Good luck, friend. Mm. Okay, let me do one big stretch and then we will start the next chapter. It's okay. No, I totally understand. I don't like to interrupt. Thank you for understanding. How are you, lovely? Sorry I wasn't here. I just don't like books. Oh, that's fine. I mean, we're about to start the next chapter, so if you don't like books, love, we're probably going to be entering just chatting after this next chapter. It's a pretty short chapter, it looks. It looks like it's a pretty short chapter indeed. One big ghosty cat stretch, yes. Yes. Although I don't have my cat ears on right now, chat. Okay, thank you. Of course. Just wanted to let you know. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. Okay, chat. Let's get into chapter 7. This one will be our last chapter for the night, and then we will just chat for a little bit afterwards, okay? Alright, friends. Chapter 7, which introduces the genie. Ooh, it introduces the genie. Oh, chat, I'm really excited for this chapter now. Okay, let's get into it. Abdullah blinked more sand out of his eyes and stared earnestly at the man with the pistol. The man really was the absolute image of the villainous bandit of his daydreams. It must be one of those coincidences. I beg your pardon 100 times, gentlemen of the desert, he said, with great politeness, for intruding on you in this manner, but am I addressing the most noble and world-famous bandit, the matchless Kabul Akba? The other villainous men around him seemed astonished. Abdullah distinctively heard one say, "How did he know that?" But the man with the pistol simply sneered. It was something his face was practically well designed to do. "I am indeed he said. "Famous, am I?" It was one of those coincidences, Abdullah thought. Well, at least he knew where he was now. "Alas, wanderers in the wilderness," he said, "I am, like your noble selves, one who is outcast and oppressed. I have sworn revenge on all Rajput. I came here expressly to join with you and add the strength of my mind and my army to yours." "Did you indeed?" said Kabul Akba. "And how did you get here? By dropping from the sky, chains and all?" "By magic," Abdullah said modestly. He thought it was the thing most likely to impress these people. "I did indeed drop from the sky, noblest of nomads." Unfortunately, they did not seem impressed. Most of them laughed. Kabul Akba, with a nod, sent 2 of them up the sand dunes to examine Abdullah's point of arrival. "So you can work magic," he said. "Do these chains you wear have anything to do with that?" "Certainly," said Abdullah. "Such a mighty magician am I that the Sultan of Zanzib himself loaded me with chains for fear of what I could do. Only strike these chains apart and undo these handcuffs, and you will see great things." Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the 2 men returning, carrying the carpet between them. He hoped, very much, that this was a good thing to happen. Iron, as you know, inhibits a magician in the use of magic, he said earnestly. "Feel free to strike it off of me and see a new life open before you." The rest of the bandits looked at him dubiously. "We haven't got a gold chisel," said one, "or a mallet." Kabul Akba turned to the 2 men with the carpet. "There was only this," they reported. No sign of anything to ride. No tracks. At this, the chief bandit stroked his mustache. Abdullah found himself wondering if it ever got tangled with his nose ring. He said. Then I'll lay odds it's a magic carpet. I'll have it here. He turned sneeringly to Abdullah. Sorry to disappoint you, magician, he said, but since you delivered yourself so conveniently in chains, I'm going to leave you that way and take charge of your carpet, just to prevent accidents. If you really want to join us, you can make yourself useful first. Somewhat to his surprise, Abdullah found he was far more angry than frightened. Perhaps it was that he had exhausted all of his fear that morning in front of the Sultan, or perhaps it was just because he ached all over. He was sore and scraped from sliding down the sand dunes, and one of his ankle bands was chafing brutally. But I have told you, he said haughtily, that I shall be no use to you until my chains are off. It is not magic we want from you. It is knowledge, said Kabul Akba. He beckoned to the man who had gone, wading into the pool. Tell us what manner of thing this is, he said, and we may let your legs loose as a reward. The man, who had been in the pool, squatted down and held out a smoky blue bottle with a round belly. Abdullah levered himself to his elbows and looked at it resentfully. It seemed to be new. There was a clean new cork showing through the smoky glass of the neck, which had been sealed over with a stamp lead seal. Again, new looking. It looked like a bottle of perfume that had lost its label. It's quite light, said the squatting man, shaking the bottle about, and it neither rattles nor sloshes. Abdullah thought of a way he could use this to get himself unchained. It's a genie bottle, he said. Know, denizens of the desert, that it could be very dangerous. Do but take these chains off from me, and I will control the genie within and make sure he obeys your every wish. Otherwise, I think no man should touch it. The man holding the bottle dropped it nervously, but Kabul Akba only laughed and picked it up. It looks more like something good to drink, he said. He tossed the flask to another man. Open it. What? I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. What do you mean, my face? Did you not see that? What caused that? Did someone give bits or something? I didn't see anything happen. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I have no clue. Okay, good. So I'm not crazy. Thank you. I saw the notification and went, what? Oh, thank you for the head pat. Oh my goodness. Otherwise, I think no man should touch it. The man holding the bottle dropped it nervously, but Kabul Akba only laughed and picked it up. It looks more like something good to drink, he said. He tossed the flask to another man. Open it. The man laid down his saber and got out a large knife, with which he hacked at the lead seal. Abdullah saw his chance of getting unchained going. Worse, he was about to be exposed as a fraud. It is really extremely dangerous. Oh, rubies among robbers, he protested. Once you have broken the seal, do not on any account draw the cork. As he spoke, the man peeled the seal away and dropped it on the sand. He began prying the cork out, while another man held the bottle steady for him. If you must draw the cork, Abdullah babbled, at least tap on the bottle the correct and mystical number of times and make the genie inside swear. The cork came out. Pop! A thin, mauvish vapor came smoking out of the neck of the flask. Abdullah hoped the thing was full of poison, but the vapor almost instantly thickened to a cloud that came rushing out of the bottle like a kettle boiling bluish mauve steam. This steam shaped itself into a face, large and angry and blue, and arms and a wisp of a body connected to the bottle, and went on rushing forth until it was easily 10 feet tall. I made a vow, the face howled in a large windy roar. The one who lets me out shall suffer. There, the misty arm gestured. The two men holding the cork in the bottle seemed to wink out of existence. Cork and bottle both fell to the ground, forcing the genie to billow sideways from the neck of the bottle. From the midst of the blue vapor, two large toads came crawling and seemed to gaze around in bewilderment. The genie came slowly and vaporously upright, hovering above the bottle with his smoky arms folded and a look of utter hatred on his misty face. By this time, everyone had run away except for Abdullah and Kabul Akba. Abdullah because he could barely move in his chains, and Kabul because he was clearly unexpectedly brave. The genie glowered at the two of them. I am the slave of the bottle, he said. Much as I hate and detest the whole arrangement, I have to tell you that he who owns me is allowed one wish every day, and I am forced to grant it. And he added menacingly, What is your wish? I wish, began Abdullah. Kabul Akba quickly rammed his hand across Abdullah's mouth. I am the one wishing, he said. Get that quite clear, genie. I hear, said the genie. What wish? One moment, said Kabul Akba. He put his face close to Abdullah's ear. His breath smelt even worse than his hand, although neither, Abdullah had to admit, was a patch on Jamal's dog. Well, magician, the bandit whispered, you've proved you know what you're talking about. Advise me what to wish, and I'll make you a free man and an honored member of my band. But if you try to make a wish yourself, I kill you. Understand? He put the muzzle of his pistol to Abdullah's head and let go of his mouth. What shall I wish? Well, said Abdullah, the wisest and kindest wish would be to wish your two toads turned back into men. Kabul Akba spared a surprised glance for the two toads. They were crawling uncertainly along the muddy edge of the pool, obviously wondering whether they could swim or not. A waste of a wish, he said. Think again. Abdullah racked his brain for what might please a bandit's chief most. You could ask for limitless wealth, of course, he said, but you would then need to carry your money. So perhaps you should first wish for a team of sturdy camels, and you would need to defend this treasure. Perhaps your first wish should be for a supply of the famous weapon of the north? Or, but which? Demanded Kabul. Hurry, the genie is becoming impatient. This was true. The genie was not exactly tapping his foot, since he had no feet to tap, but there was something about his looming, louring blue face that suggested there would be two more toads by the pool if he had to wait much longer. A very short burst of thought was enough to convince Abdullah that his situation, despite the chains, would be very much worse if he became a toad. Why not wish for a feast? He said lamely. That's better, said Kabul. He slapped Abdullah on the shoulder and sprang up jovially. I wish for a most lavish feast, he said. The genie bowed, rather like a candle flame bending in a draught. Done, he said sourly, and much good may it do to you. And he poured himself carefully back into the bottle again. It was a very lavish feast. It arrived almost at once, with a dull, whooping noise, on a long table with a striped awning above it for shade, and with it arrived livelier slaves to serve it. The rest of the bandits rather quickly got over their fear and came racing back to lounge on cushions and eat delicate food from golden dishes, and to shout at the slaves for more, more, more. The servants were, Abdullah found when he got a chance to talk to some of them, the slaves of the Sultan of Zanzibar himself, and the feast should have been the Sultan's. This news made Abdullah feel just a little bit better. He spent the feast still in chains, hitched up against a handy palm tree. Though he had not expected anything better from Kabul Akba, it was still hard. At least Kabul Akba remembered him from time to time, and, with a lordly wave of his hand, sent a slave over with a golden dish or a jug of wine. For there was plenty. Every so often there was another muffled whoomp, and a fresh course would arrive, carried by more bewildered slaves, or there would be what looked like the pick of the Sultan's wine cellar, loaded on to a jeweled trolley, or an astonished group of musicians. Wherever Kabul Akba sent a new slave over to Abdullah found that slave only too ready to answer questions. In truth, noble captivity of a desert king, one told him. The Sultan was most enraged when the first and second courses so mysteriously disappeared. On the third course, which is this roast peacock that I carry, he placed a guard of mercenaries to escort us from the kitchen, but we were snatched from beside them, even at the very dower of the banquet hall, and instantly found ourselves in this oasis instead. The Sultan, Abdullah thought, must be getting hungrier and hungrier. Later, a troop of dancing girls appeared, snatched in the same way, which must have enraged the Sultan even more. These dancers made Abdullah melancholy. He thought of Flower in the Night, who was twice as beautiful as any of them, and tears came into his eyes. As the jolliest round the table grew, the two toads sat in the shallow edge of the pool, hooting mournfully. No doubt they felt at least as bad about things as Abdullah did. The moment night fell, the slaves, the musicians, and the dancing girls all vanished, though what was left of the food and wine stayed. The bandits, by then, had glutted themselves and then sated themselves again after that. Most of them fell asleep where they sat, but, to Abdullah's dismay, Kabul Akba got up, a little unsteadily, and collected the genie bottle from under the table. He made sure it was corked. Then he staggered over to the magic carpet and lay down on it with the bottle in his hand. He fell asleep almost at once. Abdullah sat against the palm tree in increasing anxiety. If the genie had returned the stolen slaves to the palace in Zanzib, and it seemed likely that he had, then someone was going to ask them angry questions. They would all tell him the same story of being forced to serve a band of robbers, while a well-dressed young man in chains sat and watched from a palm tree. The Sultan would put two and two together. He was no fool. Even now, a troop of soldiers could be setting out on fast racing camels to hunt the desert for a certain small oasis. But that was not the greatest of Abdullah's worries. He watched the sleeping Kabul Akba in even greater anxiety. He was about to lose the magic carpet, and of course an extremely useful genie with it. Sure enough, after about half an hour, Kabul Akba rolled over onto his back, and his mouth came open, as no doubt Jamal's dog had done, as Abdullah himself must have done, but surely not so very loudly. Kabul Akba uttered an enormous rasping snore. The carpet quivered. Abdullah saw it clear as the light of the rising moon rise a foot or so from the ground, where it hung and waited. Opal! Opal, thank you for the raid! Thank you so much! Welcome in, raiders, welcome in. Oh, you were also doing ASMR? Hi, Opal, hello. Nice to see you. Thank you for the raid. Thank you. Welcome in. Were you reading tonight as well? What was on your ASMR agenda? We are almost done with the last chapter of the night, and then we were going to do some just chatting for a little bit. It looks like I have about 2 paragraphs left, and then we'll be done with this chapter. Raiders, welcome. I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Casket. I'm a friendly ghost VTuber. If you don't know me, it's such a pleasure to have you here. Welcome in. Oh, you were doing your smut ASMR reading, but so far the book is not so smutty. Please be careful with that, okay? Please be careful. Oh, thank you for the resub. Thank you so much, Opal. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, be careful with reading stuff like that on stream. Don't save that VOD if you do. Nice to see you guys. Welcome in. Thank you for the head pat. Opal, if you need to raid and run, please feel free. I totally get it. I don't know how long you were live, but after stream care is important. Same goes for you guys, you raiders. Please make sure that you're taking care of yourself. We have 2 more chapters left of this book. So let me hydrate really quick, and then we will finish that up. And then we're just going to do some ASMR just chatting for the rest of the night, okay? Also, hi Shani, I see you there. And hi Ted. It's more romantic sexy than pure smut. I see. I will be off to shower and sleep. Okay. Have a good night. Have fun reading, Ghosty. Thank you, Ted. It's nice to see you. Okay, guys. 2 more chapters. Let me see. 2 more paragraphs, my bad. The carpet quivered. Abdullah saw it clearly in the light of the rising moon, rise a foot or so from the ground, where it hung and waited. Abdullah conjectured that it was busy interpreting whatever dream Abdullah Akbar was having just then. What a bandit chief might dream about, Abdullah had no idea, but the carpet knew. It soared into the air and began to fly. Abdullah looked up as it glided over the palm fronds above him, and had one last try at influencing it. "Oh, most unfortunate carpet," he called out softly. "I would have treated you so much more kindly." Maybe the carpet heard him, or maybe it was an accident, but something roundish and faintly glimmering rolled off the edge of the carpet and dropped with a light thunk on the sand a few feet from Abdullah. It was the genie bottle. Abdullah reached out as quickly as he could, without too much rattling and jingling of his chains, and dragged the bottle into hiding between his back and the palm tree. Then he sat and waited for morning, feeling decidedly more hopeful. There we go. Now that is the end of chapter 7. All right, where is my bookmark? So that's where we're leaving today's reading off, chat. 7 chapters, not too bad. And honestly, I'm concerned because the beginning of the book said there was 21 chapters. We're only through 7, but I look like I'm almost halfway done with the book. You did absolutely amazing, Cass. Aw, thank you, Aim. Thank you. It's good to see you. I hope that the book that Opal was reading was very good. Wait, halfway already? Visually, like if I close the book and look at it in half, we are more than a third through. More than a third through, and it's only 7 chapters, so I don't know. So I guess maybe 3 weeks. 3 weeks for a book is about standard for us. You're bouncing back and forth. Aim. I appreciate your dedication. My goodness. It is good to see you. There we go. Have you guys liked the book so far? I'm here for you, Miss Ma'am. Aw, thank you, Aim. Thank you, thank you. It has surprised me, I will say. If I'm gonna give my thoughts on the book, I think it has surprised me. I now need to know which came first, like the chicken or the egg kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like, because Aladdin, like the story of Aladdin, like Disney's Aladdin, is not new by any means. So I'm wondering, because this book was written not recently. The version that I have was published in 2023, but the book was written a while ago. Let me see if I can't find the actual publishing year in the front of the book. Because now I'm so curious to know which came first. It doesn't say, it just has the year it was printed. Oh, yes it does. First published in 1990. 1990? What year did Aladdin come out? 1990 this book was first published. I wonder. I feel like Aladdin was, what, early 2000s? Am I mistaken? Maybe the 90s, but I want to say early 2000s. It's not. Aladdin is not one of those early Disney movies like the Aristocats or Snow White, you know? Mid 90s. Okay. 92. So the book came first. Do you think? I know it's very clear that both of these forms of media, both Aladdin and this book, were probably influenced by the Arabian Nights, right? But do you think it is at all possible that this book has something to do with how Aladdin was told? I wonder. I wonder indeed. Okay, so the book was first. That's pretty cool. The book was first. It was originally printed in 1990. I knew I liked Aladdin. We grew old together. Aw, you guys aged together. Definitely. Well, this is such a pleasant surprise. This is such a pleasant surprise because I did not know that this was going to have such a big callback like that, but I do like finding that out indeed. I'm so happy to have made it to your stream. Thank you. I'm glad that you could be here too. We're going to be live for a little bit longer. A little bit longer. I'm glad you got home safe. I know you said that you were safe at home at around midnight. Need to eat and then shower. Good. Good. Make sure you eat and shower, please. Take care of yourself tonight. But I'm awake. Okay. I'll be here for like 20 more minutes, so you want to sit and hang out with me for 20 more minutes? Please feel free. Luke, how are you feeling? I'm surprised you're still awake. I'm surprised you're still awake, Mr. Mod. Are you feeling sleepy? You don't have a book to follow along with tonight. Dad is tough. Yes. Yes, indeed. Honestly, very sleepy. Oh, I know. Oh, I know you are. Still, I'm very impressed that you're here. Somehow, still here. No, don't fall asleep in the next 20 minutes, okay? Gosh. I feel good. I got dangerously close to passing out at one point. Oh no. Playing Outlast Trials but feeling a bit eepy. You're playing Trials? Oh, I hope you're having fun. I have a lot of friends that play that game. I don't know if Trials is necessarily for me, but as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. Are you playing the new update? I think there was a new update, right, with the cop? There's a new map or something? I still haven't seen that yet, but I did hear about it. I've heard that it's good. I feel good. You feel good? Not sleepy anymore? Both are good. I didn't want to pass out yet. Oh, true. Yeah, I'm playing that one. Oh, you are? Good, I hope you're having fun. I'm so intrigued. I'm gonna have to watch gameplay. I usually watch one of my friends play that game. And it's been a long time since we've had like just a Let's Play hangout session. I'm gonna have to do that sometime and just be like, okay, show me the horrors. Please show me the horrors. I'm ready. Oh, my goodness. Master of Stealth. Hell yeah. Wait. Is it 1:46 for you? No, it's 12:40. Well, it's 12:47 a.m. for me right now. It's about to be 1 a.m. I usually try to end my ASMR streams around 1 a.m. If I can help it. It's a little late for me, but that's the whole point of this stream, right? Is to fall asleep together and have fun. It's 12:47 for me too. Oh, East Coast friend. Hello. Mm. Yeah, it's pretty late indeed. I should probably feel more tired than I do. In all honesty, I'm a little snacky. I feel like I'm always either tired or snacky at the end of streams. Like I'm always either like, oh, I need to eat food or I need to go to bed. Snacks. Yes. Yeah. I'm kind of in the mood for a little snack. Maybe I'll make myself like a little cheese quesadilla or something after stream. Hi Gaisu. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Shocker, I know, but I made more good snack foods today. What kind of snack foods did you make today, Aim? East Coast gang? Yes, exactly. Oh, thank you for the glasses, Gaisu. Thank you. Mm. Oh, Gaisu, I know you're someone that likes to save up points for expensive redeems, right? I can't recall if you were in my chat when I've talked about it previously, but for my new model debut on August 1st, I'm going to have a I'm going to have a very expensive channel point redeem that I'm going to be releasing for it. So, just want to let you know. I made a burrito. Ooh, that sounds good. Made some more shotgun shells and jalapeno poppers. Jalapeno poppers! Oh my god! Jalapeno poppers are so good! How do you make yours? Do you use cream cheese? Or do you use like cheddar cheese? I've had both. I've had both. Geisu was lurking in and out. Was door dashing. No problem. Couldn't stick around for too long. That's okay. Nice. I'll be sure to abuse it. Okay, good. I just wanted to let you know. And dipped pretzels because I'm a fat ass? No, you're not. Did I catch the end of the Cassie stream? Jackal! Yes, you did. I'm still gonna be here for like another 20 minutes or so. Nice to see you. I've missed you. I'm sorry. Have you been working this whole time? Did you just get home? My workaholic buddy, I swear. I'm more of a cream cheese popper guy myself. Me too. Me too. There is something so satisfying when you bite into a jalapeno popper and then you just get like the molten lava cream cheese. I don't know what it is, but there's something so satisfying about it. You know what I mean? Jalapeno poppers are good with cream cheese and feta. Feta. Oh my god, I've never put feta in my jalapeno popper. That sounds good. I got one question. Can you military story? Can I military story? I'm not sure that I know what you mean, Tink. Kinda? What do you mean? What do you mean, kinda? You don't know what I mean by the cream cheese? It's like satisfying because it's so, I don't know. It's creamy. It's warm. It's nice. Yummy, indeed. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Crimson. What are you doing still up, silly? Isn't it past your bedtime? I missed you. I hope you're doing good. Oh, and Mato is here too? Wow. Airdropping a drink to a ghost. Thank you. Missed you too? Read military stories. Oh. Can I read military stories? Can I? I mean, I have the ability to. Would I? Probably not. At least not on stream. Because I'm going to try to read books that are a little more on like the fantasy side of things or horror side of things. Though that's where my interests really lie. I was railing the stars till I honk-eyed. I keep forgetting to log into that game. I swear, God, I keep forgetting to do it. I worked today, but I got off early to help my tattoo artist with a wedding. Oh, so I guess I was working up until now? Okay, so you got off early to work some more. All right, Jackal. You know what? You are my type of person. Because that's exactly what I do. Get off work to work some more. It was hype, that is all. Ah, okay. I make mine with both, actually. I half the peppers, remove the seeds, add a mix of cream cheese and Colby Jack. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. After the bacon is smoked, I take them off, dip them in batter, and then air fry them. That's so good. That sounds so good. Most of the time, can I tell you guys something? I'm scared to fry things. I've never thought to like air fry the batter, like with the batter on them. But most of the time, I will air fry my jalapeno poppers, no batter. So it's just the jalapeno wrapped in the bacon with the cheese. Air fryer, air fry has field superior. Oh, superiority. I see. Field superiority. Yes. Also, does coffee not go towards the August rent goal? Is that only stream elements? Only stream elements goes towards it. Yes, but the coffee donos that I do get usually go to like feeding me. Like no tea, no shade. Anything that's donated on coffee usually goes to feeding me. Oh, okay. Thank you. Fake story or scary story yet ain't my thing. That's okay. I like the imagination personally, Tink. I really like the imagination. I think it's fun to kind of get lost in a story that takes you a little bit farther away from reality. I think it's a lot of fun. Thank you for the 3-stream streak, Jackal. Oh, you're getting back up there. Glad I can get you some food then. Yes. Yes. And feeding is good. Yes. That's why I always say, like, whether you contribute to like my rent goal or just decide to donate to me in any way, like, you are helping me tremendously. And that's why I thank you so much. Seriously, Jackal, I owe you a lot. Hi, Mr. Marshmallow. Hello. How are y'all doing tonight? We're doing good. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Nice to meet you. I hope you're having a good night. Oh, Tank, please stay safe out there, okay? Stay safe out there. Don't make me worry about you. Take care of yourself, alright? I hope I'll see you again soon. We're gonna be just chatting for a little bit longer, you guys. And then, this little ghostie's gonna have to get some rest. You owe me nothing, doll. Just be successful, Ghoulie Pop. Oh my god. I'm trying my hardest. To be successful. I'm doing fantastic. I figured I'd stop by since I got a gifted sub. I was just going to ask. I saw that blueberry on your name. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the first time chat as well. I hope you enjoy your stay here. Oh, thank you for the follow. Welcome officially to the afterlife, Marshmallow. Lovely to have you. So sorry, Miss Ghosty. I have to go now. No, that's okay. Please take care of your son. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me. Give him a big hug from me, okay? And let him know that this ghostie is going to protect him from the nightmares. Have a great night. I will. You are what I like to live for. Oh, Tink. Thank you. Please take care, okay? Will do. You guys have a wonderful night. Oh, thank you for tuning in, Aim. Oh, Luke, you're sweet. Luke, why'd you change your name back? Wait, what happened? When did you do that? Wait, what? No, your name was just Gray a second ago. Help. I can't do this. I can't have two of my mods changing their colors at the same time. I can't. My brain is gonna go all weird. Lord, food tastes so good right now. Oh, are you eating? You're eating right now? I'm proud of you, Jackal. Thank you for eating. So what kind of vibes can I expect around here? Oh, that's a loaded question. Chat, you guys want to sound off what kind of vibes we have around here? I think chat reflects the streamer. We're pretty wholesome and fun. I'm a pretty underdog gamer. I do a lot of variety streams. I stream a lot of different types of games. But every Saturday night at the same time, I do reading ASMR. And every Sunday morning, I do an early morning wake up with coffee stream. And we do some art and work on commissions together. Depends on how feisty you want to be. Yeah, true. Yeah, spooky cozy vibes, but I'm also kind of a degenerate. So, how do we say cute degenerate? Something like that. Mhm. We're also very supportive too. Indeed. Art, you say? Yeah, I have art commissions open on my coffee, so usually on Sundays I'll work on those. Tomorrow I'm actually working on a character design for my mod Luke here in chat. We're creating a design for him. I'm actually planning on trying to finish it this week. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm going to be working on it on stream tomorrow morning. Actually, in one word, genuine. Oh, Lively, that's so sweet. Oh my god, genuine in one word. Describe the community in one word, genuine. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, that's the vibes here. Very genuine vibes here. Oh, thank you for the stretch, Jackal. She's playful. I think I'm playful. I'm technically a poltergeist, so I'm nice and mischievous, but I also give pretty good hugs. Hold on, let me do the stretch for Jackal. Thank you. uh, she gives amazing hugs. Yeah. I mean, we're all in a big cuddle puddle right now, right? Like that's what these streams are. Just cuddle up and fall asleep. God, I have so much fun falling asleep with you guys on Saturdays and then waking up early with you guys on Sundays. So good. So in other words, it's a big safe space here. I like to think so. I've really tried my hardest to make my afterlife somewhere where anyone can feel comfortable and as long as everyone is staying kind and being respectful, like that's all I ask for, you know? I try to make sure that we're cultivating a space where people can enjoy themselves and be themselves, you know? Oh, oh my gosh, 2 back-to-back follows. Thank you so much. Welcome to the afterlife, friends. I love, lovely seeing you tonight. I hope you enjoy yourself. Don't cuddle up with me right now. I'm still in boots and jeans. Oh, I would anyway. But I wouldn't technically right now. It's not the boots and jeans. That's not the reason why. It's the fact that you're eating your dinner. So please eat your dinner first and then that'll be a really good reward, right? Have we reached the follow goal? We're 2 away. We're at 1498. 2 away. My goodness, you guys are really fiending for that maid outfit, huh? We have a week left, chat. We have a week left. August 1st is my 2.0 debut, and I promise if we hit that follower goal before then, I promise I will show you. I promise I will show you the maid toggle on the first day. Respect, I can 100% do that. Be kind, I can 100% do that. Marshmallow, I think you're gonna get along just fine here. Cass gives the bigliest rewards. I try. Being feral, I can 169% do that. Oh my god. Oh my god, that made me crack up. Don't make me laugh too loud in the ASMR tag. My god. Oh, Casket. Yes, Jackal. What can I do for you, sweetie? Oh, sorry. I'll be good. Mostly. Wait, you got the thing? Did you get it? Really? Oh my god, did you open it? Oh my god, that's such a weight off my shoulders. I'm so glad you got it. Now, being a degenerate, you're looking at a fantastic 200% for that. Yes! Oh my god, chat. We just scored a new community member. Welcome in, Marshmallow. If you use Discord, love, feel free to join the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. I just gotta go pick it up, but it's there. Okay, Jackal. Okay. Please, when you get it, please open it and let me know if you need any help, okay? Because if if you need any help like applying them. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to like give it away. I think I've already told you what it is, but I can't remember, so I don't want to give away I don't want to spoil it if you don't remember. You know? Like if you don't know what it is, I don't want to spoil it. Join the Discord. Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of fun together. I think so too, but I am a little dumb. You're so silly. Ren! Oh my gosh, Ren, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome in, raiders. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. My name is Casket. I'm a friendly ghost VTuber. Wonderful to have you here. Hello, hello. You were playing Kingdom Hearts? Oh, I hope it was a great time. All right, chat. Well, we have to be live for a little bit longer then. I need to make sure we treat these raiders properly, huh? Hi, Apple. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. It was super fun. What part of the game are you in? Are you playing the very first one? I'm so curious. I'm so curious. The first game is the only one I've played so far. 1:02 a.m. I'm sorry. I can't just abandon raiders when they come in. I'm still at the beginning of the first. Oh, okay. Well, good luck. I believe in you. It's a hard game, but it's a good game. But I will absolutely text you when I open it. Maybe tomorrow after your stream if I wake up that early. No problem. Even if it's tomorrow late in the night, I do want to know when you open it. I want to make sure they got there safely. I haven't played it all the way through before. Yeah, just beat Cerberus. Oh, congratulations. Hell yeah. I can't believe that I'm someone that can say that I have played it before and beat it all the way through. I can't believe it. You will know, Hunbun. Thanks. Yay! I know. I can't believe it. Me, if I can do it, you can do it, Ren. Definitely. But hey, it's pretty late where I am. I don't know what time it is for you, but if you need to raid and run, do some after stream care, get some water or something, please feel free, okay? Don't feel like you have to stick around if it's time for your bed. Ren is awesome. I agree. Ren, I need to catch more of your streams, honestly. I feel like every time you're live, I'm live. But I appreciate the raid. No worries. Have a good night. I know we're keeping you up. Just a little. Yeah, it's like 1:05 where I am. But I'm happy to receive your raid, Searly. Thank you. And I need to go over my after stream announcements. Bed sounds so good. It does. Release me. Keeping you up. I mean, yes, after stream announcements. And you guys know the drill, right? We already kind of touched on the debut. Mark your calendars for August 1st at 3 p.m. EST. This ghostie is going to have a new look on that day, and it would mean so much to me if you came out to support. Cass can always keep me up. Jackal, my god. Jackal. Whoa. Finish your dinner, darling. My goodness. You can't have dessert yet. And then, what was I saying? On August 1st? Yes. Debut, August 1st. August 1st, right? I do not work, so I will be there. Yes. I wanted to make sure I specifically said, oh, hi, Insane Raider. Nice to see you, Ryder. How are you? I wanted to make sure I specifically told you guys that even though my official, quote, debut is at 3 p.m. EST that day, I am going to be treating it like a normal Saturday. So I'm going to go live at 3 p.m. I'll be live for like 4 hours, and then I'll end stream, go eat dinner, take care of myself, and then I'll come back at 9:30 p.m. EST for more ASMR, okay? So, you guys, all of the rewards and perks that are going to be happening on August 1st for the debut is going to be available for both streams, okay? So if you cannot make the first stream for whatever reason, you can make the second stream, you're not going to miss out on any of the exclusive badges for my channel, okay? Because I'm going to have one badge that's for gifted subs and one badge for watch time. So if you can't make one of them, hopefully you can make the other, and then that gives plenty of opportunity to the community members to participate if they so wish. And for more Castle in the Air, yes. And I can't wait until we finally find this castle in the air, let me just say. I'm actually doing quite well. I've finally been able to lock in on some writing. Oh, good. Congratulations. I have pressed a button that led me to this wonderful thing called Casket's Fruitful Afterlife. Oh, welcome in, Marshmallow. Lovely to have you. Thank you, thank you. Wait, new badges. Yep. So there's going to be 2 new badges. One is for gift subs, so you have to give a minimum of 2 gift subs to get one. And then the other one is earned by watching a minimum of 2 hours of my stream on that day. Any of the streams. It's only active on the 1st of August. So if during my ASMR stream, if I go over time and I'm live until like 1 a.m. like I am now, then the badge will stop being active at midnight. So like this hour wouldn't count towards it. Does that make sense? I will be there. All right, bet. And Crimson, please, please go have a good night, okay? Love you dearly. We'll see you next time. Yes. And, okay, so we talked about that. I'm going to have a lot of announcements, a lot of fun new things revealed on that day as well. We're going to have a Q&A session also. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, you will be able to on that day. And I'm going to be revealing the next chapter of my lore on that day as well. So it will be a lot of fun. On to a different topic. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for helping me reach my plus goal this month. We are at 97 out of 100 right now. I just can't thank you guys enough for all of the love and support. I really, truly think we're going to hit it. We have a week left, and we have 1, 2, 3 more streams. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, within those 3 streams, we're going to hit it, and we're going to make it happen. But I still want to thank each and every one of you for doing what you can to help support me. And Jackal, oh my god! Thank you for the 5 gifted. Jackal, you didn't have to do that, sweetheart. Holy. Hey, yo, chat, you see that subtotal? You see that? Jackal, you're fucking cracked, man. I love you so incredibly. I don't know what I did to earn your presence in my afterlife. Seriously, I really don't know what I did, but I'm so grateful to have you here now. Don't look at that. What do you mean I'm looking at it? That's a high number, man. You guys wondering how we got so many goals achieved in my subathon for my birthday? You're looking at it. You're looking at all the subs for my birthday right here. You know what you did? What? I just created the afterlife, friend. You're the one that found it and chose to stay. Seriously, though, all jokes aside, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Oh, okay. Okay, I don't want to end stream, but I think that I must. I think that I must actually look for someone to raid for you guys. Kind, compassionate, and inclusive, plus likes whiskey? Yes, whiskey talks, exactly. Was that what sold you on me, Jackal, when you first found me? Was I drinking whiskey that night? I think I might have been. I think it was like the stars aligned. I think I might have been. You're lagging so hard? Oh no. You were? That's how it goes. That is how it goes. Well, I'm really glad that that happened. We were drinking together and playing Baldur's Gate. That's right. That's right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Eepsy ghosty. Yes, I am very tired. I am very tired. Let's see if we can't find someone to raid. Pleasure to officially meet you, Casket and chat. I look forward to being a part of the beautiful community. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Thank you so much for the kindness. Thank you. Everyone is loved and accepted here just as they are. Yes, exactly. And that's the type of community that I'm cultivating. So I'm so happy and proud to have you. That's why I hate missing the Baldur's Gate 3 streams. That's what pulled me in almost 6 months ago. I can't believe it's been 6 months. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, let me see if I have any friends that are live and not doing super loud things right now. I know, it's so wild. Time just flies by. Yeah, time just flies by, chat. Let me see. Let's see. I mean, I think I might just raid Kisa because she's partner pushing and she's pretty soft spoken. And she's playing Peak right now and she's not being like super loud or anything. I think she might be a safe choice. Okay, chat. Let's go ahead and commence the raid. Remember that I will be live tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. EST for some coffee time and some art, okay? Oh, thank you for my raid commands, Luke. The first one is for my subscribers. Please copy and paste that over into the next chat when we get there. And then the second one is for everyone else, okay? You and your community continue to give me purpose. I will be forever grateful. Oh, Jackal, thank you. Thank you. What a great story time. Yes. Okay, chat. We're going to commence the raid. Sending you hugs. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great night. Please sleep well. Make sure that you show Kisa some love when we get there. I love you. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you guys for everything, seriously. And I'll see you guys in the morning, okay? I hope you're ready for some coffee. All right, chat. I love you. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye. Good night. Good night. Sleep well. Mwah.